guys. Episode 8. It's definitely episode 8, yeah.
It's definitely.
Yeah.
Episode 8 of Don't Spoil the Ending. I am Joe.
I'm Nick.
I'm Jono.
Hi Diane, I'm Agent Cooper.
I'm Sam.
Okay, we got Agent Cooper with us this week.
Special
guest.
So yeah, this week we're going to be talking about Twin Peaks and Firewalk with me. It's going to be a good chat. There's going to be some wild ranging opinions on this one.
I'm confusing chat. For me, mind is blown.
Well, first, let's cover some other stuff. Have we done much interesting this week?
Oh well, Jono's been up to a bit of business this week on Twitter.
No, that might have been a bit of a slight error.
Well, you were liking the Nicki Minaj topless pictures.
Technically, that was an error. That was me scrolling too fast for accidentally pressing it.
You meant to dislike the pictures, right?
Yeah, that's what it was. So they're popping up off all the fitness ones. I just happen to be clearly a fitness geek.
And you're checking out some new guy liner on the glam makeup.
Well, I've been speaking to those people and they feel like they can get Joe on the show. After his experience working for Max Factor, they think he can do some guy liner work.
I'm taking my tips from you, John. I'm wearing your full face of makeup right now.
Well, I'm on the air. I didn't realise it was just a recording.
Well, you turned up for a video shoot here today. Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not.
He's just been waiting to say that about me.
That's all that's happened this week.
That's pretty much it. But yeah,
Have we got much TV we've watched or anything that we're looking forward to?
that would be me and Nick and Sam. But we're at different stages. A Better Call Saul. Nick's literally up to date. I'm this week's episode behind, and Sam's 2 behind.
I won't spoil anything then.
But he's not going to spoil it for us.
Exciting stuff, guys.
Are we enjoying? Is this season 3 now?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I'm glad that you're saying some exciting stuff is going to happen because I think I've watched four or 5 episodes and I think like it's been quite slow and uneventful so far. It's been sort of like there's no big thing that's happened.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but I think the next episode you're in for a treat.
Okay.
Do you know where I'm thinking that the drama's coming from? It's coming from Mike. It's not coming from.
Yeah.
It's not coming from anywhere else. It seems to be the way Mike's relationship is with Hector. The fact that he's still.
Yeah.
Trying to get
there's a lot more about like the relationship between Jimmy and Charlie.
Chuck.
Chuck.
His brother.
There's a lot more in like coming episodes about that.
To be honest, I'm liking the involvement of getting Gus Fring in it from. Obviously, that's what I've been waiting for.
There's a few more surprises in the next couple. Honestly, like I think in this season they're just gonna bring like loads of people back.
Yeah. No, like you obviously see like already like quite a lot of recurring characters sort of like coming back and you're like, oh, they're it's quite good. Like
on the next episode, like there's I think you'll meet one next episode and I'll just like go.
It's like every time you're watching it and you're thinking, oh, that person's been in Breaking Bad. You're like, oh, how close are we to before like Breaking Bad starts?
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. How many more series can we get before it'll start? It'll be the start of that.
Merging into Breaking Bad.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to do a few more. No, I think what they're doing, they're going to do like a little bit up towards it, and they're skipping until after it.
Ooh,
I think they're like they said before it even came out. We're going to like do. It's going to be based before it and after it. I assume like they're going to like skip. And
well, that's well better because if you're a Breaking Bad fan,
because like we've seen snippets of Jimmy like afterwards
working at the cinnamon role play.
So like. And I think you've seen like bits, haven't you, where like that guy like robbed something from a shop and he was like at the beginning.
He's in the photo booth.
He's like that.
Yeah, so like
don't know where he is.
So like maybe there's more to do. Like there's more like afterwards that happens to him. Like.
Well, there's previous scenes where you see him in the Cinnabon, whatever it's called, like working there, and then like that one in this series, he still has like that lawyer instinct because he says. Don't say anything, get a lawyer.
It's because the security guy then goes, you're an asshole. And he's just like, yeah, he is.
But I only watched season 1 of Better Call Saul, and whilst I enjoyed it, I never felt the urge to go and watch season 2 when that came out.
I wasn't hooked.
It is one of them.
I'm not gonna lie, if you like, I like Breaking Bad. I think I prefer Better Call Saul.
I'm kind of that opinion, sort of like I find it a bit. I don't know. It's a bit more relaxed in a way. It's more comedic.
I think I was more drawn into Breaking Bad just because I felt like I had this addiction. like a method, to carry on watching episodes. Like I was trying to fit in too many episodes in a day, maybe 4 or 5 episodes. But with this, I'm literally, I don't mind just watching one a week. I feel like it's enough.
Like for me, like the only thing I was really itching to watch for Breaking Bad was that second half of the last season, like because of how long I waited. Like I need to watch every episode.
Must go.
I prefer Jimmy as a character though. I think like he's far more interesting. Like
Saul was always sneaky and underhanded, and he knew every trick to get out of things. Whereas Jimmy does know these things, but doesn't necessarily use them. He has a conscience.
It's more lazy.
His morality is much better in this.
I can't wait to speak to you about the next 2 episodes because like there is some interesting things that like I actually want to talk to you about.
Well, to be honest, this episode that I've missed this week was just down to me falling asleep. I was planned to watch it, went to put it on, and then fell asleep.
Well, I would have watched it last night, but I got kind of sidetracked with some deleted scenes, which were
from the
very good.
I think we'll talk about like a bit like
a bit of wasted time, but I'm still loving it. I think you should get into it. John, how far did you get into it?
Like Joe, only just the
first
one. Yeah.
Honestly, I know it might seem like a slow burner, like Sam's saying, it's a bit laid back and you might almost seem lethargic, but it builds a story. It's helping you with Breaking Bad. So if anyone's not watched Breaking Bad either, watch this as well, and it'll be in conjunction with it.
Our Luke, he's never really watched Breaking Bad, but he loved that. Me and him watched the first season together. We loved it.
I mean, I do too.
I think it does stand alone. It's like on its own, it's good. Like you don't need to watch Breaking Bad. Obviously, like.
Breaking Bad is that's going to go down as one of the best TV shows. Better Call Saul's more laid back.
There's not many like it. I would say I'd put True Detective Series 1 in the bracket of Breaking Bad
definitely
as being that good. But
we should do an episode once talking our top 5 TV shows.
Or just True Detective.
I could cover that.
Season 2.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Have we watched anything else or looking forward to
I've actually watched a film this week. It's an old one.
Okay.
But it was a cracker of a film. I watched American History X.
Okay.
I have seen it, but it was a long time ago.
It's been a few years since I last watched that one.
Like, it's another, like, last week I talked about a film which I've been getting pestered to watch.
Yeah.
I thought, this is another one, so I thought, I'll give it a watch. And it was amazing. It blew me away. Absolutely blew me away.
Have you seen it before?
No, never before.
No.
I've not seen it.
Oh, it's really good.
It is really good. Like it's so intense. Yeah. Like, there's like certain scenes that I was just like, oh my god, what's happening right now?
Yeah, giftable scenes.
Are you planning on watching it or?
Yeah, it's one of those films where you always hear sort of like.
I won't
this
spoil.
Is a film you have to
I won't spoil anything then, but like these bits, and you just like, this stuff actually happens, and
it's definitely a film you need to be in the right frame of mind to watch it, because if you're not, you'd just be like, what the fuck.
Yeah, you have to be in a depressive mood.
Yeah. or more, yeah.
I think like one of the, I'm not sure if this is in the same bracket, but whenever I watch Requiem for a Dream,
is
it all for a dream or for a dream?
Requiem
for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
We all know what I'm about.
I do know what you mean, but yeah.
Like, when you watch that film, like I've watched that a few times now. I've watched the director's cut version as well, with some of the darker scenes have been extended.
Yeah. S to S.
S to S. So there's a lot of stuff there that is quite dark. After you watch that film, you definitely need a shower because you need to wash the dirt away from
that
you.
Film.
Are you like? Do you feel?
With that film of like Requiem for a Dream, I've watched it once, and I have no intention of ever watching it again because it buried itself deep inside of me. That film, it got to me so bad.
Yeah, it is.
At the end, I was like going, "Oh God!"
It is a wrong film.
I felt grim. Like you say, I felt like I needed to watch.
I reckon we could all watch that at some point. Maybe it's a main film or maybe a sub film.
I've not watched it for years.
I think we need a shower after speaking about it as well.
Yeah, together.
Probably not together.
I feel like a shower now just talking about it.
It's really interesting. There's a lot of history behind it as well. Like Tony Kaye, who directed it, basically kind of wanted his name taken off the film because of studio involvement, that kind of thing. So yeah, it'd be a good discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one's that yarn about?
That's American history.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's quite a dark.
Yeah.
It is a very dark film. Like it's got memories in it, which are all shot in black and white, and like for some reason that adds to like how like grim it is just watching it. And it's Edward Norton.
As in the own
and like some of the scenes, he was like I was blown away by like some of the like scenes. Like there's one bit where he's like probably staring at his brother, and I was just like,
Yeah.
I felt like he was
quite
staring into my soul.
Do you know what's funny though? He's such a good actor, but I feel like he's got a really passive personality. Like he's really, he
Do you think he's like his character in Fight Club?
no, I don't. I
Real
think
life.
I think the majority of the time he's like this most laid back, strange person. But in Fight Club, yeah, he's like neurotic. He's
Yeah.
Edward
Or-
Norton is the forgotten Incredible Hulk. People
yeah.
just forget that
To
he
be
did
honest,
the
that's
Incredible Hulk.
all I know him. Well, apart from Fight Club, to be fair, but like,
Yeah, Fight Club.
Yeah.
like apart from Fight Club, I only ever knew him from Incredible.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think I'd put him in a bracket of being an underrated actor. Barring, we'll keep the whole
Oh,
thing
well,
I
out.
won't call
of
him
it.
underrated. I call him,
Yeah.
he's equally rated. Where
The thing
I
was,
don't
in the
know
late
this.
90s and early 2000s, there's been hyped as the next big thing, you know.
Okay.
the next
But
big
I think
actor.
I mean more.
He's never really like fulfilled it, has he? You know,
No, I just don't think he's been given the roles. Like, but
yeah. He's chosen
Totally,
weird
yeah.
stuff to do, like the Bourne Legacy, you know, part 4 and stuff.
Yeah.
Why are you choosing?
I don't know.
what would you rate American History X? Nick?
Oh, that's definitely a solid 4.5 for me.
Mm.
Like, do you know?
I'd have to
do you know,
rewatch it again, but
I
I'd
might,
probably
I might even go as far as 5.
Yeah,
It was a really good film.
you put that in your classic film.
Yeah, it was a really
Yeah.
good film. Like like normally, like I'll get my phone and I'll start like scrolling and stuff. This phone, I was engaged the entire film. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
It's lucky it isn't something that we'd review because I feel like because I was last night trying to watch that film and make notes on my phone. When the last time I watched that, I wouldn't have had a chance to make any notes. I'd been looking at my phone, it'd be blank.
Wait.
It was fucking.
without spoiling
Like,
anything, though,
yeah.
there's this one thing that happens in the film, and like it's the most shocking thing you can see. It's just like, my God.
You know
Like-
what? I think. Oh, you're gonna watch it, aren't you?
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
I
say
mean,
you
like,
can spoil it.
Well,
No,
no,
I
yeah.
To be honest, I
want
won't get around to it anytime soon. So if you want to say like,
right. Okay.
Don't
I-
spoil the ending.
Can I,
It's
can
not
I,
the
so I'm
middle, it's
going
the
to
middle.
spoil these two
Yeah.
bits.
It's alright. Spoil the middle.
I'm gonna talk about these 2 bits then, like, and it's just because of how much these bits affected me. Like, there's this one bit, right? Because it's about like racism essentially, and like,
Okay.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. And they go into this shop which is like run by like black people and like foreign people, and they go in and there's this girl on the counter and they're just pouring milk on her, like forcing stuff in her mouth, and she's there crying, and like I was like going, what the fuck? And it just took me. And this other bit though, he goes to prison, Edward Norton,
Yeah.
for killing someone. What he did, he made them bite a curb and fucking stamped on their head.
That's the moment
Good
that's just come. I've seen so many gifs.
That's
of
the-
that.
Yeah,
Chelsea
it
smile.
honestly it blew. It
Yeah.
took,
It's bad, isn't it?
Like really bad.
Do you know what?
Like, I kept turning away. It's like, oh god, no.
I love it because
Curb stomping.
I love the film because I feel like some films you sort of just think, oh, it's a film. It's over dramatized. This almost appears as if it could be real. Like this stuff.
No, like-
this stuff genuinely happened.
Absolutely
It
all of-
portrays it really well.
Pretty much all of it, like you can believe happening.
Totally.
Kind of thing.
So it's almost engrossing. It borders on it. It could be a documentary. If you were like an undercover documentary making, you were making it about neo-Nazis. I feel like it could.
Like a Louis Theroux thing. Almost,
Yeah,
or
it could.
something.
I feel like we've spoke about. This isn't the main film, so maybe maybe we should.
Yeah. Let's move it along.
Yeah,
go along,
Nick,
yeah.
you're a fan of Orange Is the New Black.
Oh yeah, big
Oh,
fan.
you are.
Does anyone else watch that?
Yeah.
No, I haven't actually.
No.
There's a new show coming out from the producers of Orange Is the New Black. Have you heard about this?
Oh no. Is
What's that on South Park? And he goes, have you heard about this? Have you heard about this? Is it Jimmy?
Oh,
It is Jimmy,
Jimmy,
isn't it? When he's on that doing stand up.
Have you heard about this? Yeah, they're bringing out
Is it but the same producer or the same creator?
same producer.
Because like I've watched quite a few shows
Okay.
by the creator of it. Like
Right.
she did that Weeds I was talking about
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah.
And like I like her stuff.
Okay.
But I don't know about the producer.
Well, the producer is bringing a new show out. We're combining our two worlds here, Nick, of Orange Is the New Black and wrestling.
All right.
There's a show coming out called Glow, which is a TV show. Glow stands for Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling.
Okay. Is this
So
going
this-
to be like a
it's
documentary?
Netflix.
Oh.
Definitely pique your interest.
Is it
okay?
going to
It's going to be a Netflix series,
So is it
an
like
original.
documentary types?
No, it's an actual. It's supposed to be like a comedy drama, similar to. It's Orange Is the New Black comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard it's got
quirky.
drops. In.
Yeah, so it's got like Alison Brie in it. So that's who's going
Oh,
to
I
be
do
in.
like
Oh,
Alison.
yeah, I
Brie.
like Alison.
She'll be in.
Yeah.
She'll be in that. But it's going to be about the Glow Federation, which was a wrestling federation. Well, it still is a wrestling federation founded in 1986 to present. So I'm not sure when it's set, from the trailer, it could be. Well, I'll be honest. I've watched the start of the trailer. I've not watched the full trailer. But,
Well, I mean,
So unprepared.
What rating did you give the trailer?
yeah, I'm not 100% sure like how it will go, but it's got a quirky sort of humour to it.
Okay.
It's
I'll probably watch it.
might be
I'll
worth a
probably
watch if you've subscribed to Netflix.
I am, so I might as well give it.
Yeah.
Would you prefer it to be from start to finish, as in start in 1986 or whatever you said? And
I
be
don't know.
like build a story.
Yeah, to be honest, I watched most of the trailer. I was a bit pushed for time this week, fitting a whole season of Twin Peaks on the film in there. But yeah, like from the trailer, it looks like it's set in the 80s. It's set on the founding of that federation, and it's about women. I don't know if it's going to have a feministic tone to it, but it's about women getting into this thing, into this business, which is quite a weird business anyway.
Yeah.
And they're just finding different personalities for women and finding different wrestling abilities, and then this show is just going to be based on that company, which is mad because I'd never heard of this promotion, even though I know most of the independents, but I haven't heard about this one. But they're making a Netflix show with the producer
very
of
interesting.
Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. But it does sound
It
good.
might be something to have a look at when it comes out. Maybe
Yeah.
watch an episode.
Talking of Orange is the New Black, like just a little bit of news. Have you heard that they got hacked?
Yeah, it's this Sony. No, not Sony.
No,
it's
Netflix. got
Netflix,
hacked,
sorry. Yeah.
And Orange is the Black has been
Yeah.
leaked to the newest season because
Oh,
really.
basically they said like, right, you need to give us a load of money, otherwise we're leaking Orange is the New
Did they actually end up leaking the show?
Yeah, because they were like, we're not giving you money, fuck off. And so they leaked the show, and now I think they're now with Disney saying we're going to leak Pirates of the Caribbean. If you don't
Yeah,
get-
they are.
and then they're again going, yeah, we're not giving you money.
Hey,
Leak it all you want.
You could say Orange is the New Hack.
Go home, John.
He might have to. His things aren't working. He's not getting any money off these people for stealing stuff.
Yeah, I thought I'd just bring up that little bit of news.
Yeah,
While
no,
we're on the
On topic.
topic.
While we're on the news topic, South Park, The Fractured Butthole,
Yeah.
got a release date,
Yeah, it's October.
October the 17th.
I-
It's only 5 months away.
I actually pre-ordered this game, right?
Why, like 2013 or
It's
something.
like last year. I pre-ordered it last year, and I got the free version of what's the other one? A stick of truth.
Which is good.
I got the
Yeah,
stick
yeah,
of truth.
it's
Played
great.
the stick of truth, and then they messaged me going right. It's kind of been delayed, so if you want, you can cancel it. No worries. It's like, no, I'll keep it. No worries. Then a couple of months later, I got another email going, right, we don't know when it's coming out, so we're cancelling it. You can keep that free game, and that's it, done.
Oh, really?
So now I need to pre-order it again, but
So
yeah.
I've got a free game and now I've got to pre-order the game.
I mean, I don't mind, obviously, but
Have
like,
you ever played Stick of Truth?
yeah, that's what I mean. I got the stick of truth for free.
No, I mean before. Like, well, actually, yeah. I'll edit this out.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, hang on.
I got it for free. I got it for free and played it.
Yeah. So let's just yeah. So yeah.
Gloss over that.
What do you think of the Stick of Truth, Nick?
I loved it. I loved it.
It's a good game, isn't
No,
it?
no,
It's a really fun game.
Have you played it, Nick?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've played that game.
Okay, no.
I really enjoyed the Stick of Truth. when
No
I played
idea
it.
for it. It was fun, really
Yeah.
fun.
I like the idea of making your own character walking around town, and then I remember you walk past the cinema, and in the bush you just hear, "Hey, psst," and it's just all go.
looking for man bear. Nick.
Have you seen that movie?
I'm totally sick.
And like on the same kind of story, they've announced the release of the new season as well on the
Yeah.
South Park.
Yeah.
September.
September.
John, you stopped watching South Park for about 7 years,
Yeah.
and then you got back onto it recently, and
Yeah, I love it.
And now he members it all.
PC Principal, woo woo, woo woo. Yeah, no, I think South Park's one of the best shows going. I know
Yeah,
that's a
definitely.
common opinion, but a lot of people don't think it's as good now than it used to be.
I think it gets better, to be honest.
Yeah,
I
that's the weird
genuinely,
thing.
yeah. Sorry,
Like, also, like you guys, kind of, I feel like you think Family Guy is getting worse the longer
Oh,
it
it
goes on.
definitely is. Yeah.
Simpsons has definitely fell off a cliff since series 10.
Yeah.
Whereas South Park is getting
It's
more
just-
relevant and
yeah.
more
Just
comedic
gets better.
every
better.
year.
Like and that little switch up a few years ago where it's like all the season is like one big.
Yeah, one big intertwining story.
Yeah. I thought that was like really interesting,
Yeah, it
but I
was.
think next season they might be going away from that, mightn't
It
they?
does sound like it, yeah.
Purely by the
Hold on.
name, purely by the name of the last episode.
Yeah, and the whole Donald Trump thing's kind of ruined the plans a bit. So
Yeah.
They might have to go back and
Yeah.
So yeah, because now they've got Mr. Garrison as the president of the country.
and they never planned that.
Yeah, I've got one more thing to bring up this week before we move on to Twin Peaks.
I've got a couple of things still
yeah.
yet, to be honest.
Yeah,
But I'll let you go first.
John, I wasn't going to move it straight on. I was going to
No.
check first.
Can you?
No, I finished off watching Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice this week, so I want to give you my opinion on this.
BBS call on DOJ.
Yeah, so like if I just Johnny, you weren't on last week, so I'll just give a recap for anyone who's not listened to the last week's episode, which you can find on iTunes and all good podcasting apps.
Yeah, because we don't want to be biased. What the fuck has just happened?
From a bottle opener.
Live on the podcast,
Gutted.
Oh, boo.
Inman had broken his bottle opener.
I mean, we're not trying to record a podcast.
But you can't go anywhere without getting drunk, so you need to sort of...
Yeah, we could do
It's
that.
It's like speed, innit?
When you edit that back, you'll hear the disappointed in my voice.
So Inman, when you're in the car on the way home, how are you going to cope for half an hour without an open bottle of beer?
What do you mean? I'll just drink and drive.
Right, okay.
One hell of a
Right. We're moving on.
Yeah, back to BVS calling the OJ.
Right. Before I go back on that, please do not drink and drive. Sam, I'm speaking to you.
I'm just hoping you're good at
Because
that.
you are driving me home, so don't. Yeah, I want to get home in one piece. Batman v Superman. For anyone who didn't listen to last week's episode, I got up to the bit where Lex Luthor has got Superman on the top of the building, and he's explaining like son of Krypton.
Oh wait, was it Spider-Man he had up there?
Spider-Man, yeah. Spider-Man. So Spider-Man's on the top of the building. No, Superman and Batman are fucking. Batman's not near the building. Jono, you've seen the film.
I have.
Yeah.
Superman is at the top of the building talking to Lex Luthor, and he's giving the whole spiel about day versus night, and he goes, son of Krypton versus Bat of Gotham. And that's what I got up to before I had to turn it off because of me screaming child.
I think he saved you.
So I watched the rest of the film, so it was like the last hour or so of the film.
Oh, so you finally got to see the amazing bit where
Well, let me come up to it all.
it makes a full turn.
let me say it. I watched this at the cinema with you guys.
Yeah.
Where the drinks were flowing, to put it lightly.
Yeah, that's
I
fair to
didn't
say.
realise. I didn't realise I fell asleep twice in the film.
Yes.
Because
you
for
did.
me, I feel like I slept through for 5 minutes when I actually watched the film at the cinema. When I actually watched the film back, I was like, I've not seen about like the scene had been going on for 25 minutes. I was like, I've not seen any of this.
Yeah, because the two times you woke up, you're meh. And you're like, about, and you're like, what's happened?
So like I missed the entire fight scene. So basically, my memory of the film the first time was at the top of that building, Superman's with Lex Luthor, and then the next moment I know is they're saving Martha.
You don't know how,
which is like
how the Martha thing comes about.
Well, that's a good 25 minutes, and I only thought I'd slept in the nightmare scene because I'd missed that as well, which is obviously like 25 minutes earlier.
Did you miss the Flash?
Yeah,
So
I
John
missed the Flash.
So John kept bloody saying, did you miss the Flash? He said he must have been fucking quick. John didn't even see him.
First time I watched the film, I missed the Flash, Aquaman, I missed the nightmare scene, I missed what is a good fight scene between Batman and Superman.
Yeah,
Like, I watched that film and came out of the cinema the first time. I didn't even realise it had a proper fight.
Yeah.
Like,
He
Yeah, I know he
cracked
That's
bloody
why you had
Max.
such a low opinion of it. It's like that film was crap. They didn't do anything.
No,
It's called
It's big
BBS,
metal.
over fight.
his big metal helmet had a big crack in it.
yeah, I don't remember that.
the eye.
I was asleep. Like, but then because he changes his hat. So no, like Batman changes his face.
Got some other tombola kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, and like halfway through, he's like, I'm done with this top hat. I'll get rid of it. So like Batman, like his mask gets all messed up by Superman.
Yeah.
I have no memory of that because I was asleep.
Right.
So I only seen him when he put his other mask on because he carries a backup.
Obviously.
When he's got the other one on, that's sort of where I remember the film from that
Right.
bit. So when I must have woke up as the big fight scene after. Sorry, I woke up when Batman and Superman are
Doomsday-
saving Martha
yeah.
and Doomsday appears. And watched the rest of the film. I wouldn't say I didn't hate it and I didn't dislike it.
So
I did not like it.
Your ratings in
I love how he
comparison to
just
the
completely
first time.
skirted around.
Like in comparison to the first time you watched it, like
My rating's gone up since
Has it gone
the
up?
first time.
Like,
Definitely.
see, that's what happened to mine. Like,
Yeah.
I was probably about the same as you. I didn't like it that much.
What was your
but-
rating the first time?
Okay, well, I've
Like a 2.5, wasn't it?
I was like a drunk out of 5, Jono. I don't remember.
To be fair, it was how many units out of 5, yeah?
What,
Yeah,
about
they-
25?
No, yeah. So like, I watched last week. I can't remember what I gave it, but I was said that the first hour and a half of that film is boring. For the majority of that film, it's boring. Last hour was a lot better, but
It's a build. It builds up to the end.
I'll give you my rating now. I want to see if people are happy with. Well,
Yeah,
I'm not asked if you're not happy with it. But I'm just going to tell you.
Just
about
see
it.
what those is.
We'll rate to your rating.
Well, John kept doing that to mine. He kept telling me what my rating was. I was like, it's not my
I'm
rating.
gonna say this is a solid 3-star film. That's what
fine.
I'm gonna say.
What was
because
it before
I think last week I might get it like a 1.5 or a 2.
Oh, yeah.
You were pretty when
I
you
was
were
pretty
bladdered.
down on it
When you were
'cause-
pretty bladdered, you kicked the curb that time, didn't you? And then you was like, oh, getting a 1 or something like that. When we were walking back to the train station, you're like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, it was just I didn't enjoy it the first time. I enjoyed, like we said last week, I enjoyed the experience, not the film. But this time, I did actually enjoy the film as much of a mess as it is. I enjoyed, like I said last week, I don't want to go too far into it, but the characters and everything's fine. It's just I don't think it's not a well told story.
It's
my,
not
my
really.
big issue with it is Doomsday. It just looks like an orc or something. It's
I just think
somewhat uninspired kind of thing.
The story's bitty, like he's saying. It just doesn't really flow.
It's
no
what
real
was
flow.
what was that quote used last week, John? Mark Mode said that it was a incoherent film.
There you go.
So that's what it is. It's a solid. I'm bad saying solid. It's a 3 out of 5 film.
It's not solid at anything.
It's an incoherent film that I did enjoy, sort of, but I feel bad for enjoying it because it's a bad film.
It feels like, you know, them films that you get where they're sort of leading on to a big scene in like a prequel or like a sequel. Sorry, it just feels like one of them. But there is no sequel to it. That's the problem I've got.
Like setting something up kind of thing.
For nothing.
Yeah. Well, they set up Justice League, aren't they? Dawn of Justice.
Yeah,
I know
I
you've
mean,
got-
that's what it is, and I suppose.
I reckon we move on.
It should have had its own merits. I just thought it was his
Yeah,
own.
yeah, I don't think.
Before we move on, like,
Yeah.
what do you think of that bit where, like,
Spoilers.
the most ridiculous bit in the film was save Martha?
My mother's called Martha.
That was the most ridiculous bit
What?
in a film I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
All it
It,
is
it doesn't bother me. I
Do
don't,
you know
I just
what?
don't
That
get
doesn't
the
bother
hate
me
for
too
it,
much.
like.
That
Do you know the only thing it was missing was them to say
Well,
that
the whole
Martha...
reason he decided to not kill him was because they both their mums share the same name.
But I
No,
don't
I think.
it's
No, I think
Really?
it's not so
Yeah.
much- no,
That's
it's not
not
so
how
much
it
that.
I'm not seeing the film, and that sounds
That's the big turning point in the film.
I don't think that's
when they
it.
realise that
It's
that their
more
mums
that
share the
Batman
same
is
name.
psychotic at that point,
Right.
and that's what brings him back from being a murderer.
It's
basically.
that.
Yeah, I'm with John.
It makes him
on
realise
that
he's a human being
Wait
with a
there.
mother kind of thing.
The only thing that would have took it one step further is them having the same fucking mother. That I know they've got different mothers, but for them to for some reason be
Yeah,
related.
but I mean that in itself, I find that interesting. That I've never noticed that coincidence that DC's two biggest heroes mothers have the same name. I've just never noticed that. You know
Is
what I mean?
that sloppy writing?
No,
Well,
it's,
it's two
no.
different
it's
people
clever,
entirely
right?
who made it like, but
If anything,
No,
it'd be clever.
for this movie they're just using what's already knowledge. But in a
No,
comic
no,
book
no,
section,
I've never
DC's
put that together in my head and thought
I-
No,
that's a
sloppy
weird
writing.
coincidence that both mothers are called
I
the
don't.
same
I don't
name.
mean sloppy writing for the film. I mean for the comic.
Yeah,
thing, just going,
I
it's the
think
same name.
I think if anything, it'd be clever writing. No?
You
Yeah.
know for a
Quite-
fact I'm a
quite-
fan of both separately. In fact, I'm tattooed as one as a Superman.
Superman, yeah.
Yeah, because he's obviously my favourite of the two. But
Yeah, I just find it interesting that it's never clicked with me before, but obviously people hate it kind of thing, the whole Martha thing.
because what I was saying was, I know it might have been sloppy writing for the comic, but really clever to put in the film.
yeah,
For them to pick up on
to
the
use it, yeah.
to-
see it as an urge.
And it was well used in the film for
Yeah,
what
it
he
was.
trying
Yeah,
to do.
I'm okay with it.
I know it was daft. It was daft, but
Yeah.
for them to pick up on the smallest detail that linked them,
Yeah.
it's pretty genius. Like for something that is a mediocre film.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Let's move it on.
Yeah.
John, you said you had some stuff you've watched
Yeah.
and got to speak about this week.
Just a couple of things that I won't spend long on this, but the big one is Alien Covenant. Finally got to watch that. I've been dying for that all year. I didn't totally live up to my hopes for it.
Can I jump in just
yeah,
with one
yeah,
comment? I've heard mixed things about this review.
Well,
this
everyone,
film, sorry, not
everyone pretty much hates it, but they all hated Prometheus, and that to me is a 5-star film. I love Prometheus.
Well, I think people are just doing this. They're either one or the other. You're Alien or you're Prometheus. There's no real. You
yeah,
shouldn't be merging.
actually, I'm both though.
Well, no, because you said this film merged them, and I don't think they
Yeah,
should be
that's the
merged.
thing.
All right, John, give us the rundown of Alien Covenant.
Just really quickly, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. It's still a new film, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
So, basically, I love Prometheus because of the ideas in the film. This one, like John mentioned, they half go for Alien, half go for Prometheus ideas, and it feels like it's a bit too much. They should just focus on one thing. All the alien stuff in the film to me feels really just
like put in by fans because fans wanted it.
a bit like fan service and
Don't like that.
just not very interesting. They're just redoing stuff from the old Alien films kind of
Yeah.
thing. Whereas the ideas with David from Prometheus, I think are amazing.
I love that. I mean, like Michael Fassbender is an amazing actor. To play David, I feel like he gives a cyborg so much, like whatever he is, so much character for something that isn't supposed to have any feeling. Perfect. Like that.
Yeah, and all the ideas with David, I love in the film. He is probably half to 2/3 of the film. When you get to see him on the Engineer Homeworld, I just think, oh, that's amazing. I wish the whole film... I feel like Prometheus 2 was what they wanted to make, but because of the studio interference with Prometheus not doing as well as they hoped, they've made it more like an alien film, which is the wrong idea for me, the wrong avenue to go down. They should have made it more like Prometheus 2.
Yeah.
And just done that, really, but...
Or at least done something a bit.
But I've given it 4 out of 5. I still love it, to be honest with you. It's just not as good as Prometheus.
No.
The look of the film isn't as interesting as Prometheus either. There's a lot of just like dark corridors that they're stuck in, that kind of thing. But yeah, I really like it. 4 out of 5. Hopefully it'll go up on a rewatch. Going on to Assassin's Creed as well. Watched that on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Actually better than I thought, to be honest. Quite enjoyed it.
I've seen that.
Did you like it?
I did actually like it. Like the whole concept, the strange sort of testing people's brain powers, being able to go into the thing. I kind of liked it. Did you not like it?
I didn't rate it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Are you basing that on just because it was shit, or the fact that
No, like,
Are you basing your rating on the film being shit?
just on its
no.
own merits of being shit, or the
What-
fact that gamers
like
don't
I
like it?
spoke to John about it earlier, and like I agree that like the bits in the Animus, they are really quite like good scenes. Like it is done really nicely. Like,
Yeah.
But like as a whole, I didn't rate the film that much. I didn't think it was that good. To be honest.
I think it's more a pretty film. It's like a lot of
you see,
visuals. a bit.
I disagree with that.
Do you not like the visuals in
I
it?
think the film looks like garbage. Like it looks like just absolute shit. But what I like about it is it doesn't go where you expect it to. There's a few weird things they throw in there, like, and it's just better than expected. Really,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting anything from it at all.
No, I heard general consensus. It wasn't. You know, like if you're a big game for Assassin's Creed, you didn't really like the film. You didn't.
Yeah.
You can relate to them, but you didn't like it.
But I love all the stuff in the Animus in Spain. I thought all that was quite good.
Well, that was what I liked. Again, do you not like that?
Oh.
All right. I don't know. I kind of liked it. It was. I thought it was visually better. It didn't. It had some content, but you were always trying to match it to a game.
Yeah.
Like we said, we've done that thing before, haven't we? Where we said game to movie doesn't always
Yeah. But I mean,
translate.
that's my issue with the game as well. I love all the stuff where they're in the past in Spain. All the stuff in the future with the Animus, I just think just get rid of that. Just make the whole film in the past.
Yeah, it doesn't make
I
any
always
sense.
felt in the games like they kind of put that in there for like I don't know why they put it in
Yeah,
there.
well, I remember
Like,
I read
feel
at the
like-
time that they put it in there in the first one because they didn't feel people would be interested in playing a game set in the Crusades.
That's what I mean. I don't know why they thought that because like I've always wanted to play a game like set in like them kind of times.
Oh come on, yeah, they well done.
So like when it came to playing the first game, I loved that game. I completely smashed that game, even though it was very repetitive. Like I loved
Yeah,
it.
I think the
loved it.
gameplay in that was repetitive and the control, the system, like the controls of it. But I felt like it was pretty groundbreaking at the time.
No,
So
it
like
was.
that kind of game,
Yeah.
like
No,
it was different to anything else that was out there.
I smashed that game when it first came out, and then like the second one came out, and honestly, like I played it on a PS3, which wasn't mine, so like I didn't steal it or anything. Like it was my little brother's, and like he sold it like halfway through me playing the game, so like I weren't able to finish it, but like I loved the series, and I've not played them like in the later game. I think I played Black Flags a bit, but that was basically on a ship.
Yeah, I like Black Flag, that's the pirate game.
But
yeah,
it was mainly on a ship, and I weren't that keen on that.
I've never played the games, to be honest.
Oh.
They're a game series that I've completely avoided.
Yeah,
I've seen it. I've been around with mates when he's played it. It's not something I fancied. Like
No.
I saw Assassin's Creed 2 and I've never really took me
That's
over.
probably the best one, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Part two.
To be honest, I know it's one or two people. There's no middle ground for me with people that I know of the game. They either proper big fans, can't wait for the release, massive or they just don't get it.
We work with a couple of massive super fans.
You're talking about Elliot.
Yeah, I was going to mention it. Yeah,
I've done it again, and we're mentioning names.
No.
Hasn't someone...
Someone else got a tattoo.
Someone's got a tattoo on the back of
Yeah,
their neck.
yeah.
I played the first one. I thought it was really good. But like, does the story
It-
does the story in the film tie into sort of like the games or what? Because I'm not seeing.
Not at all.
not seeing the
Totally,
film.
totally new story. New character, new location.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It was,
completely new.
Right.
it's like that Black Flag, so that's completely like goes off the rails with the story, doesn't it? Because like, if I remember correctly, you go into like
You work in an office.
you
but
go into an office place and like you
it,
go.
it does get back to the main storyline.
Oh,
at the
does
end,
it?
so,
See,
yeah,
I
it
didn't.
all
I
ties
didn't
in.
get.
Sorry, is Black Flag the one where do you remember the E3 demo they played when they announced that game and they showed the first footage of the game and the game crashed whilst they were playing it on the main stage?
Was that Black Flag?
Was that Black Flag? I think
I don't know. I remember hearing about.
No,
that.
he was like riding a pirate ship and he was like, "Oh look, you can ride a pirate ship," and the game just kept stopping and glitching out. And he was
It
like,
probably was if it was a pirate ship.
Maybe,
Because
yeah.
like I remember just being on a pirate ship all the time.
Yeah.
I've seen some amazing glitches on that game where the ship is rendered at like the bottom of the sea, and then the ship randomly starts appearing from the bottom of the sea right to the top, and so all the water effects get all messed up, and it's just some really weird glitches where the ship will then fly into the sky as a glitch, and all the people start falling off the ship, just in the sky in the game, and you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, not a game series I've really gotten into.
I think you'd like it. I think it might be
I probably would.
up your street kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I like pirates.
I like pirates.
He's pirating he? On that one.
On that one, yeah. Edward Kenway. I think.
So Sam, I believe you've been watching some of this week, haven't you?
Well, there's Seinfeld, which has been quite long running. I mean, it's
When did
like,
that start? Like a couple of weeks ago.
When did it start though? Like 1990.
88, I think.
88?
89.
Yeah.
Is this you taking forever to get round to the show?
I thought it started
I
like.
wasn't even born when it came out. I didn't give it a chance.
I started episode 1 back in 1991. It took a while to get through.
Well, go on, Seinfeld.
To be honest, I got through like season. I'm nearly at the end of season 4. I might even be in season 5.
How many
It just
seasons
falls
are
in.
there? Of it?
9.
There's 9 seasons.
Yeah, I feel like
Is it-
it's amazing in the beginning and sort of like all that. It gets a little bit repetitive and they don't follow, like at the start of the whole show, like they have sort of storylines which the characters will follow and they seem to just sort of drift away from that and it's just it turns into the sort of each episode has a new sort of storyline which they follow and end in that episode, so something different happens in every episode, which is fine as long as there's an underlying story, which doesn't seem to have been for sort of like end of season 3, season 4.
Like, I don't know. I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it. So, like, is it a comedy?
Yeah.
Is
comedy.
it like a sitcom where it's 20-minute episodes kind of thing, or
Yeah, 20,
Well, it's-
25 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes?
I would say that's where Friends come from. What it was kind of created based on that sort of similar
Yeah, it does
setup.
seem a similar setup to it,
Yeah.
kind of thing. That
It seems like this set the trend for sort of like a lot of the 90s sort of like sitcoms like Friends, where it has the set
There's
characters
set
and-
characters,
yeah.
the set base, and it just follows.
and you
through
just
them.
there's a formula to it basically. It sets a formula and sort of like, but like Jerry Seinfeld is so funny, but it's like I couldn't believe how funny it was because it's an old show. It still feels relevant. Like the storylines in it
yeah,
and anything that happens in it feels relevant. And John's going to agree with me on this because we've spoke about it off the podcast, but I don't really have anything to say about the show, and I've not said anything what happens in the show yet because
that's almost the point of the show.
that is the point of the show. It's about nothing, and in the show they actually reference like the show's about nothing, but they do it quite cleverly and sort of like. But I mean, I don't know what your views on it.
Well, I've not mentioned to you. I just watched one the other day from series 3, where
Yeah.
George and Elaine have to go to the movies together because Seinfeld's busy, and they realise they've got nothing to talk about. When them two are together alone, they need Jerry there to be the third man.
Yeah, and George can't go either, and it's like, but even I think a similar thing happens between George and Elaine maybe at one point.
Oh, sorry, is that what I meant? Did I not say that? Did I say
Craig?
George and Elaine?
I don't know. What
Oh no, actually, I meant George and Elaine.
Right, okay.
Sorry.
I can't remember.
Yeah, between them two. And the only thing they've got to talk about is bitching about Jerry. They get on really well once they realise that.
That is good.
But have you seen any of the stand up that they do?
Well, they cut it into the show a lot of
Really?
stand-up stuff, yeah, and like the episode will loosely revolve around what he's talking about on stand-up.
Yeah, yeah. So it'll always start with one of his like a segment of his stand-up, and sort of he'll be talking about a subject, and then it'll move on to that in the show.
Yeah.
I think like.
It'll be like, hey, what about airplane seats? Hey,
Yeah.
and the show will be all about on an airplane.
Like even Louis C.K., who has the TV show Louis, like that follows the same formula as what Seinfeld, and those two are good friends in real life. Like that, he follows what that formula is.
Yeah,
That,
stick
it
to
was
it.
set back in like.
I like Louis C.K. I think he's really
I love
funny.
Louis
So
C.K., yeah.
if that's anything like that, then I'd probably enjoy this show.
Pretty much the same thing. Like Louis does like this little segments of where he does like the stand-up show, and then his show will be around.
I've only ever seen him live on stage. I'm like, I love it. I
Yeah.
love his live stuff.
No, it's really good.
So
But, like I've watched Louis as well, and sort of like that is really good. It's a bit more abstract, like because Louis C.K. just goes off on one. Basically. But it's really good.
Oh, cool.
Maybe it's just you've just missed it just because of when it was set, you know. Because like when it's so far back, like in '88, you just sort of we bypass it because we're born after it, and you just don't. If you don't pick it up straight away,
it's never really
kinda
on
gets
TV.
forgot about.
It's never really on TV. Sort of like
For us.
it's on Amazon Prime. That's the only reason I've picked it up. Like
Well, I think I told you I got into it like when in my teens, and I watched like the back end of the show kind of thing, you know, series 5 onwards maybe, and that was on Sky One at the time,
Right,
in the
okay.
mid-90s. So yeah, I'm looking forward to get a bit further into it.
no, it's good. I love it.
Cool.
Yeah, just got one last thing. La La Land. Watched that on Blu-ray this week.
That's a musical, isn't it?
I don't think it is, to be honest, but it's got music in it.
And there is a lot of.
The thing is, though, it
call
starts out with 2 or 3 like big musical numbers at the start, and it kind of gets away from that the longer it goes on.
Yeah.
There's not much actual
Well,
singing and dancing.
see,
later
that's what I
on,
mean.
kind of thing.
I would call it a musical, but I turned it off halfway. Not because I didn't like it. I got really tired and I just needed to. I did not watch a film at this point, but like from what I've seen, it felt like a musical. It was just a lot of singing. I liked it a lot, and it was good. It was good, and singing and dancing, and I like the musicals.
What would you say it was similar to, just to get us involved in it? Because sometimes I don't want to watch it.
Well, it's like a throwback to old 50s films, you know, like Singing in the Rain, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Didn't Emma Stone? Did she win a big award for this?
I think she was up for it, but
Did she not win it?
it was the whole thing
was-
where she got given it. And
That was the
taken it.
fiasco.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
All right, she collected the award for.
It might not have been her, it might have been the film maybe that it was taken back for, but she was on stage at the time.
It was her name
Right.
on the card,
Right.
and that's why he thought it was to do
No,
with La
yeah,
La
sorry.
Land.
So
Was that
like, her
Fiasco,
name was on the
wasn't it?
card. So Emma Stone won. Was it Best Actress or something?
Supporting actress.
I think so.
Supporting,
I
was
don't
it?
know. I thought she wasn't the main character.
Yeah. But yeah, as a rewatch this one, I loved it the first time I watched it, gave it 5 out of 5. But I thought I might go down a bit on the rewatch, but I actually enjoyed it more, to be honest.
6.5.
Maybe, yeah. Really enjoyed it. Gosling is amazing, Emma Stone's amazing.
See,
5
I
out of
don't know
5.
why Jono's not watching this because you fancied Ryan Gosling.
Just clarify.
I really want to watch it. Like it's the same guy that did Whiplash, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry, Damien Chazelle.
I couldn't remember his name.
Well, to me,
And the,
Whiplash is totally different. Like,
And
it's a different
well,
vibe.
yeah, I was gonna say like I think they're gonna be separate films, but I do like his.
But there is, you know, it is like a companion piece to it. It's not totally different kind of thing. And I love them both. They're both 5 out of 5 films. For
Are
me,
you a big
so-
musical fan though? Like
Not
musical
really,
films?
no.
So that's why it's impressed me that you've given it such a high rating, because it's sat alone from the others
Yeah.
for you, because you don't really rate the others, and this has come out and
Yeah, I love it. It's
yeah,
great.
you love it.
Yeah, that's me done. 5 out of 5.
Cool.
So has no one played games this week? Has that not happened?
I've spent so much time watching Twin Peaks. I've literally not done anything else.
No
It's not
one's
even
well-
after his own child. Yeah, it's just Twin Peaks, isn't it? Twin Peaks.
I've got to admit, I've been playing Mario Kart 8 all week. Morton Cooper Jr. is the best, my favourite character.
Yeah.
He's my boy now, so
Is
yeah,
he a boy?
I'm loving that, yeah.
Okay.
Are you going to keep bringing it in? Because I beat you last time.
Yeah,
so-
I will do, I'll bring it back. No, you didn't.
Whoa.
I beat you with
The table shows that I'm top of the league. So.
No.
38 points,
Like-
John says differently.
All right. Should we move on to Twin Peaks then?
Oh, yeah.
So this week we've all watched Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me, which is the prequel film to Twin Peaks.
Before you go on, you
Yes.
say all of us.
Okay.
I mistakenly watched Twin Peaks: The Missing Pieces
This is the deleted
and
scenes,
mistaken it for the film.
which I think is great, by the way.
I know, I thought it was quite hilarious, but I've not actually watched Firewalk with Me. I can talk about the deleted scenes by all means, but the film itself, I mean, I'm fine with spoilers, but
All right,
guys.
I mean, we'll get onto the deleted scenes anyway.
Yeah, we'll
There's a
get
few
onto
there,
it.
yeah.
All right. So if you're not aware, Twin Peaks is it was a TV series from what 1990,
Yeah,
91.
ABC TV show from 1990.
Yeah, it's
Ran
you
for
know,
2 series.
yeah, it's gained a cult following.
Yeah.
Got very very high ratings.
No, in the US it didn't. Over in Europe, everyone loved it.
Everyone loved it. Japan, I read, loved
Yeah,
it.
Japan are mad for it.
I'll give you a quick rundown of the TV show and then the film because we've all watched. Well, most of us, Nick,
Yeah.
have watched the actual film,
I mean, I've watched the series.
and you've watched some of the series, haven't you?
most of it.
Okay. So, Twin Peaks, the TV show, here's the synopsis. The series follows an investigation headed by FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper into the murder of homecoming queen Laura Palmer in the fictional town of Twin Peaks, Washington. That's season 1 of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
So, Twin Peaks season 1 basically starts with a body being washed up, and
Yeah.
the body is Laura Palmer.
Palmer, yeah.
Yeah.
The prequel film actually gives you the backstory to how Laura Palmer died, who killed her.
I
and
think
the
it's the
brother.
last 7 days. I think.
Is it the last
I
7?
think
Yeah,
so,
I'm sure in a different territory it was released as the last 7 days of Laura
Yeah,
Palmer.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jono, Sam, you've not watched Twin Peaks, the TV series, but you've watched the film.
Yes.
Now, I cannot imagine watching that film without having any backstory, because this is a very dense film. Like, it's very hard to break down if you haven't watched any of the TV show.
I'm still trying to come to terms with what I watched.
I think me and John are going to have pretty similar views here that
It's-
it makes no sense.
Okay.
Right.
In a nutshell, it makes no sense, and also it leaves you with loads of questions
Yeah.
just about really random things that happen and why they happen, and also the fact that I had a dream and it involved Twin Peaks because it confused me before that.
I would say a lot of the questions are probably answered by the TV show that preceded it.
I am
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean-
hoping you will answer them for me now because I don't.
Well,
want
yeah.
I don't want another dream like last night.
Well, John, like you've watched Twin Peaks a couple of times, or just the
Yeah,
once?
I've seen the TV show twice, I think. in
I've
total.
I watched season 1 about a month ago, and then season 2 I watched all through this week. I've watched about 20 hours
Yeah.
of Twin Peaks, including the film. So I think we're probably geared up for any questions.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I've got a few myself, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
I have.
Before we go on, like,
Yeah,
you watched it in quite a short period of time, like pretty much all of season 2.
it was very hard.
Like, I was gonna say, like, every time I've watched an episode, I kind of need a break.
Yeah,
I can't imagine it would have been easy to do that.
I forced myself to watch it so that I'd be ready for season 3.
It's like a shot to the system.
No, I'm going to be watching it all this weekend and the
Okay.
film. I'm going to be watching it all ready for Monday.
Are you going to be happy with spoilers here, Nick?
I'm fine with spoilers.
Okay.
What I mean is like watch I feel like you were what episode 2 on Monday or something of season 2,
Yeah.
and you've watched 20 episodes as
Yeah.
well as a 2.5-hour film
I have.
in 5 days.
And looked after a child.
And look after a child.
And work 9 to
Yeah.
5.
And that can't be.
I don't feel the
mentally
same.
well.
I don't feel like I was the same person out there that I was. At the start.
I watched the film and I don't feel like I'm the same person.
All right.
I feel like you probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as you would have done had you have maybe
Well,
watched
yeah,
it week by
possibly.
week.
Possibly wanted to prepare for the film
Yeah.
for the podcast.
I think I'm emotionally scarred from what I watched last night.
Well, it's like I'm going to give my opinions on the TV show and the film interchangeably because that's just how I've watched it. It may as well have merged.
I mean, I
together.
can give my opinion of the series so far.
Well, all right. Let's go. Let's talk about the film. Jono, Sam, you.
Can I give you a bit of background first?
Of course.
Yeah.
You can
On the
start
film,
with-
it might address some of the issues that you're going to have with it, to be
Hopefully.
honest. This film was hated when it came out.
Yeah.
1992. Everyone hated it.
got booed.
Got booed at Cannes.
I kind of get where they're coming from. I imagine
Yeah,
Sam
that's
does
the
too.
thing. Everyone hated it. I watched it. It was about 15 or 16 on video, and I loved it. It scared the hell out of me when I was like a teenager.
I think that's confused me. I don't know why you were scared. You keep asking me that same question.
We'll go into that in detail. I've got
We'll
all
get
notes here.
Can I just say that since the film came out, it was booed at the Cannes
yeah.
Film Festival, and it was universally hated, universal negative reviews. As time has gone on, people have started.
Well, this is the thing. People now are saying like it's amazing and stuff.
Has it
and-
become like a kind of cult classic kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm going with this.
I was thinking that.
He
Yeah,
did-
John, go forward.
He did Mulholland Drive in 2001, I think it was.
Yes.
And that is really similar to this film. It's got no narrative, no plot structure. It's just like a...
And that's not got a series to back it up either.
Well, it was meant to be a series. It got cancelled, the pilot got cancelled, and it turned it into the film.
It was originally a TV film or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a TV pilot, yeah.
And then taken into...
And they gave it a bit more money. After the show got cancelled, they got a bit more money to make it into a film. And people call it the best film of the 2000s and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I just don't get why people love that so much, and yet they hate Firewalk with Me, because they're virtually, in a lot of ways, the same film kind of thing.
Right.
No narrative to them. David Lynch planned this as a trilogy of films originally. This would have been the first of a trilogy of films, because everyone hated it. No,
Yeah.
you know, there were no 2 or 3.
Just before you want, like, how would that trilogy have played out? Because this is a prequel, and it pretty much started just before the series started. So
well, I mean, it set stuff up in this film that would have, like David Bowie's character, Chris Isaac's character, that would have all
would it have carried on in the same time period, or?
Well,
I was wondering.
So we actually don't know any details.
We'll get on to that
That's
because like season 3,
It's
we'll
gonna
get on to
address a
season
lot of
3
this,
soon.
yeah.
But
No, I meant the
yeah.
trilogy of films. Like would the second film have carried on from that film like directly, or would it have gone after this?
I think nobody knows.
No idea.
With
No,
you,
that's fair.
well,
enough.
with you saying that, I was wondering if this series 3 would have existed had the films been made.
It could have been.
They could have covered
covered
what's
that,
been
yeah.
covered now. Maybe it's took him this long to.
I've got some points on that which we'll get on to. Yeah, we'll get on to
I
that.
just found it interesting that he was planning a trilogy of prequel films back then, and then after that, Star Wars did it, The Hobbit did it. You know, it's just ahead of his time again, kind of thing. 20 years too early, kind of thing.
Yeah, I get like he's a bit too far ahead of his time. Like
Yeah, definitely that was out of time. Like
completely out of sync. People would get him so many years later. Like you've said, Mulholland Drive. Sorry, like another 9 years later.
Yeah,
They totally get
people love it. Then yeah, I don't get why people love
He's
that.
so far advanced
Yeah.
to the point where it's confusing.
Just another quick point. His daughter Jennifer Lynch actually wrote the book, The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer, which you can actually buy. Like you can read it, kind of thing. That gives you a lot of background in terms of what's going on, clues. That
Have
kind
you
of
read
thing.
it?
I've not actually not read it. No.
So like David Lynch's son was also in the film.
Yeah, playing the grandson.
Yeah, the magical grandson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moving corn.
He was in the show, not in the film. He was too old by the time the film came out. They had to replace him with a lookalike kind of thing.
All right.
To be honest,
he looks like David Lynch.
that was kind of one of my points. I was like, is this early Korn Slipknot like band mask making? like you made a little mask with like a pointy nose. And I was like, what's the relevance of the mask?
David Lynch's son did go on to play in Slipknot.
Oh, I thought so.
Just a couple of quick points here that like came to wrap up the show. Lynch was told by ABC, "You have to tell us who killed Laura Palmer," and he was adamant, "I don't want to do that. Like the show, I'm never going to tell you who killed. That's the whole point of the show. It's going to be week by week, just these characters' lives and what they get up to. You're never going to find out who killed Laura Palmer." And they were like, "No, you've got to do it." And that is why in the show it feels so weird when it's out of nowhere that Leland is just revealed as the killer.
Yeah.
You know, when it's in episode 8 or 9, I think, of series 2.
Yeah.
Not even the finale or anything. You know, it just feels really out of place.
Yeah, have you read about how they handed out fake scripts to the staff?
Nope.
So they basically, David Lynch had handed scripts to all the cast, and there were multiple actual scripts for it. So there were different people as the killer in each one, and it was to stop the actual answer being available.
Yeah.
So he would tell people one thing, but they weren't filming it knowing who the killer was. So even the cast don't know when they're acting.
Themselves.
So it won't affect the acting at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they just don't know.
They don't know who. They don't
You
know
know what's
who
funny?
it's
They use
supposed
that
to be.
technique now in some of the films. They don't tell
Yeah,
them who the
They
killer's
use that
going to
a
be.
lot.
Yeah.
It must involve so much extra work to build, because you're essentially
You build
writing
fake
a
stories
different,
just to try and keep
completely
it.
separate TV show. Like, I'd love for some of the fake scripts to be actually made. Like,
Yeah. And so just going on from that, like, that was when Lynch became bitter and a lot less involved with the show in the series 2. And he ended up, virtually doing nothing in the show, and that's why it goes downhill a bit, I feel. And because of that, a lot of the actors felt a bit betrayed by him, and they weren't willing to come back for the film when he was doing the film a year later. That's why Laurie Flynn Boyle's not in the film.
Right.
Kyle MacLachlan's in it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He's the main star of the show and is in the film for like 10 minutes. That's why Chris Isaac has to come into it to take that part, kind of thing. Yeah, I just found it interesting, the background to it. It's quite a troubled production from show to film.
That's largely in part because of the studio having
Involvement, interfering,
interfering so much.
Yeah, so go. Twin Peaks Firework with me.
Right.
Yeah.
That
Jono,
was
you've got a lot of notes here.
yeah, that was the problem I had. Sort of cast members changing, but I thought they were the same people, but they were appearing to be completely different people. Like it was like.
Are you talking in the context of they were playing the same character, or are you talking when Leland
I thought they were
and
playing
Bob
the same
interchange?
Yeah, I'm imagining you talking about Bob and I've not seen
You
the
got
film.
about, so like,
but
you got
I'm
about
imagining
Not
that
Bob and
being that
Leland
kind
though, because I know the fact that they played effectively the same character, but they are two completely different.
Are you talking Bob and
Songs.
Leland here? Where
No,
Bob
I'm talking near the start of the film where Chris Isaac's in it and stuff, and then all of a sudden it changes to a different actor playing, like you say, in a different.
Well, he's Agent Chester Desmond. He's only in the film because they couldn't get McLaughlin to come back for the full film. So they invent this whole subplot of him investigating Teresa Banks' murder a year earlier. He vanishes, and McLaughlin comes into it for 10 minutes, and then it's all about Laura
See,
Palmer.
I feel that's what I didn't get, because you said watch the first half an hour, and it's like this story, and I got a vibe of it, like, you know, because it plays this music in the background constantly. Remember the old, like, private investigator 1950s naff kind of movies where they have this overlying music that sets the mood and tension?
That is David Lynch. He has like jazz, ambience kind of music
Yeah.
for all his stuff.
There's a lot of
like,
piano in that.
I literally wrote that down, that I felt like it gave it a vibe of this PI thing, and almost the way Chris Isaac brought the character. What did you say his name was?
Yeah, Chester Desmond.
Chester Desmond.
I feel even though if you not watched the TV show yet,
No.
I'm hoping you will go and watch it. It's the music is one of the things that I think is universally.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah, the composer's Angelo Badalamenti.
Yeah.
And, like people just rave about his work.
It's like every time you watch the intro to the TV show, which is I prefer the TV show to the film. When you actually listen to the intro and you hear the music throughout the episode, it's incredible.
I mean, I didn't not like the music. I just felt like it was setting a tone, because of what I was trying to say was it coincided with the fact that Chris Isaac playing Chester Desmond acted very the way like them PIs would, in that, you know, very over dramatised the way he was acting. I just didn't really get it. I didn't really get what he was doing.
Was that the detective opposite Keith Sutherland?
Yes,
Yeah.
because Keith Sutherland was like
Keith
an
Sutherland
investigator.
is like over exaggerating, sort of like the detective sort of
Yeah.
role,
He was
like where he
also
sort of
the-
like has the glasses and he puts it in his mouth. He's like,
He wears the bow tie and stuff.
And bow tie,
Yeah.
Of course, but the acting from them two is absolute garbage in this
Yeah.
film.
I
Keith Sutherland's awful.
I love Kiefer Sutherland, but I totally get Chris Isaac not being very good at acting, because that's not what he's for.
Yeah, he's
he's
not
a
an
singer,
actor.
isn't he? He's not an actor.
I mean, that's David Lynch. He's not so much interested in a performance. He's more interested in whether you're an interesting character or not.
I mean, he's totally interesting, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
The actress who played Laura Palmer was actually just a local stage actress.
Cheryl Lee.
Yeah, she wasn't an actual film actress. He'd spotted her.
Yeah.
Do you know what as well? I liked it in the film as well, like the way she was.
Oh, I love
There's a couple. I'll get onto a couple of the bits,
Yeah,
but
we'll do it.
some of the way that they've casted characters is really interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
What I was thinking was, even though I said it was confusing in parts and some of the acting at points was literally, it was painful, but I did like where it started, where there was almost a TV smash, then there was a scream.
Well, I mean, that's not very subtle, is it? Like the smash of the TV, you know.
I like that.
This was a TV show. Now it's, you know. Now
do you know what I mean? I like it because it just goes boom and stands out. And you like you're saying, giving it double meaning.
Yeah.
Are you taking that as a point?
Oh, he's definitely intended that.
Is that definitely
Well,
intended?
Because he fell out with ABC, it was like, fuck your TV show.
I didn't
Okay,
take that as that. I
okay.
took it as like instead of building something, it just goes straight into it, bang. You hear a scream, obviously that's then the murder,
Yeah.
and then you see a body in a bag floating down the water.
Yeah, Teresa Banks.
Teresa
Yeah.
Banks.
I missed that. I didn't pick up on
I
that at
mean,
all.
I feel this whole film is a big fuck you to like ABC, as if to say like,
Is David Lynch the type to?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You know more than me on this one.
I'll show you some videos later on from YouTube. He's definitely.
I'll show you some videos.
what is it that smashes the TV?
It's like a big bar, isn't
yeah,
it?
well, it's a wooden mallet or something, or like a
Or an axe?
It's
Is
big,
it an
yeah.
axe?
It might have been an axe, maybe.
Because
He's been the TV show's been axed. Is that what you're trying to say?
yeah. Oh, maybe.
possibly, but in the deleted scenes as well, there's a scene where Leyland walks into, like, when they're around the dinner table, and he's saying like they've got
Oh, God,
Norwegian,
yeah.
like, because I made the mistake basically of watching the deleted scenes before watching
That was
anything
brilliant.
else about Twin Peaks, which ruined me. But there's a scene in that where he sort of like he walks into the dining room and he's like, he is mad. Like he comes across completely mad. But
Yeah.
like he turned around and goes back to the fireplace, and above the fireplace he turns this board over and there's an axe on the other side. So I was wondering whether like
It could be
that
the
is
axe.
part of the
We
axe
don't-
going through the TV and that.
I think it could be. I didn't pick up on
I
that.
know you didn't
That's what
see
he
it, Joe,
uses as the
but
moment.
it's almost like it blacks out after it hits it, and you see something wooden, like John's saying, but the sound's metal, so it could be the axe that would.
He beats us to death with like a wooden pole or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, then it just
I'm
goes
not
straight
sure
through.
it's in the
Wow.
same scene. Obviously, that's in his house.
Oh, the TV smash though is when he kills Teresa Banks with a
Yeah,
wooden pole.
because
Right,
we
okay.
don't see anything else. It literally like it hits it in blacks,
Yeah.
and then the screen goes, and then you just see this body in the water. So it's
Yeah.
kind of an odd start, but yeah, it's a direct start. It's direct, isn't it? Very.
Yeah. But just going back to your earlier point about how you were confused about characters playing two parts almost, I don't think Twin Peaks is for you, because in the show, Cheryl Lee literally plays two characters. She's Laura Palmer and her cousin Nadia, I think it is, or Maddie, her cousin Maddie, who also gets killed.
That's.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
so-
not saying I don't. I just it was confusing. I wasn't saying I didn't like it. I just said with the film having a lot to follow as it was, it didn't make it any easier for me to sort of pick up what I meant.
Yeah.
I found little parts in it. You know, the little first segment, the Teresa Banks murder. I did like some of the little bits in it. When they go and visit the deputy's sheriff's office, and he
Oh yeah.
and
Oh, you see the picture
grabs
on
him
the
by the
wall?
no, he grabs him by the nose,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and he like puts him like that. Chester Desmond grabs the deputy by the nose because they're making some really poor jokes. Like the coffee was made
But you see,
like 2 days ago.
I've actually got a quote for that. Why do you have some coffee? It was fresh about 2 days ago.
That was it. Him and the receptionist were wetting themselves laughing, so we just
I
grabbed him
found
by
that
the
funny,
nose.
to be honest.
It was funny.
There's another
Picture.
quote.
Cable Ben Steele. Is that the is that the
Yeah.
picture you're talking about?
Sure.
No, I was going to bring up the bit where it's like we're looking for a ring, and he was like, "We've got a telephone here. It's got a small ring."
I thought you meant in his room. There's a picture by the door, and it
Yeah, it's
literally says
amazing,
the Sheriff Cable is Ben Steele. He's got a pole.
Just calling it.
That is also a deleted scene.
Yeah.
So
That is
like,
pretty
Yeah.
funny. That.
What?
Shows,
This
it
is-
shows him bending
Sorry,
the steel.
there's a deleted scene of him bending the steel.
Yeah, he literally bends the steel.
Oh
in the,
my
yeah,
God.
like because of that. That's all I've watched the deleted scene.
so basically, there's a face off between sort of like, I'm gonna say
Chris
Keith,
Isaac.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like Keith Sutherland's there as well, but like the two police officers are there with the secretary from the police station.
Yeah.
Don't know why she's there.
She's
but,
just
like,
she
there's a
doesn't
little
do
bit around-
anything.
And then the FBI sort of body like I can't remember what you'd call him.
Oh, Chester Desmond.
No, like the FBI guy in the hat, and they'll take the body away.
Oh, he's like he's the coroner.
Coroner. They're all stood there, and I have no idea why they're there. Basically, there's a standoff in the middle of nowhere.
But it
on
doesn't.
this
Nothing
farm.
happens. It just goes straight out.
No,
to
this is a
No,
deleted
there's
scene.
deleted
Oh, is
scene.
it? I didn't
so
even see
like, there's, but this is where it goes into the bar thing. So that they are like, he gets a bar, like the police officer, and just puts it above his head, like in the picture, and just starts to bend it. And it's like, what the? It's like,
Imagine
but-
having
and then
that
they
in-
have this fight, and it's the most awful fight scene I've ever seen in my life.
Do you know what's really daft? In the film, it's literally they're both having this standoff, like you're saying, with the coroner there, and it just literally goes. They say something to each other, and then it just skips straight to outside. Where I think he says something like, "You're not taking the body," the sheriff. Then it goes straight to being outside, and the body's getting put in the back of the van,
Yeah.
and he's like, "You go to Portland with the body," and he's just like, "What? How the fuck has this happened?"
Just going on from that, you mentioned like Deer Park there, which is where that sheriff and his deputies are. The reason that's there, it's like an evil Twin Peaks basically.
Yeah.
That's the flip side of you guys haven't watched the show, but
Yeah.
in the show you have Twin Peaks, they're all nice and friendly, a blonde receptionist. They're just literally the flip side of that. They're not helpful, they're awful to them. It's a very deliberate thing he's done there.
I mean, I've got a few questions. Like, I've not actually seen the film, but like
From watching the missing pieces.
No, literally, I have like with Dale Cooper. Like, I seen the scene, and it's probably got no relevance at all. This question, but basically, like
It'll have relevance to like scene 5 from episode 4.
Basically, all I want to know is like, he's got this friend Diane, hasn't he? He's always talking to her on this thing. And in this deleted scene, he stood outside this room and he's just looking in the room going, "Oh, nice, nice to see you, Diane." And just having this conversation with this Diane.
Yeah,
and, and
like,
you never
Diane, you've changed something,
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
you?
And you
I'll
never-
find it, I'll find it.
and you never actually see Diane. He's
Do you
just,
never see
he's just
Diane, though?
looking in this room,
She's in
talking
the
to this
office.
Diane.
See,
So in the film, you don't actually see any more of it. Then no.
that's great though. In the TV show, you hear him speaking to
No,
Diane.
I've seen that. That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean. But like in the film, I loved it. Well, in the deleted scenes, I loved it because he was just talking into this door frame, just like, oh, you've changed something, haven't you, Diane, kind of thing.
And he's doing like a really weird, like rubbing against the door frame. It's the weirdest thing.
No, I really like that because you never actually learn Diane's surname through the entire TV show, and the fact that in the film, in the deleted scenes, he's having a personal not personal, but he's with in the same vicinity as Diane.
He's literally talking to her through the door frame, but all you see is him talking into this door frame.
For people who haven't seen the series, like Cooper speaks to Diane through what is it? Just
It's like a voice recorder.
Voice
isn't
recorder.
It? Yeah.
That's the only way he communicates with Diane. You never hear Diane speak. And then obviously in the film, in the deleted scenes,
She doesn't speak back. To be fair, she never
Yeah,
speaks
never
back.
heard
It's just him like having a full conversation. Like it's a one-sided conversation.
I like that.
And
That's how Diane should be.
I found that I was wondering if the film added any more. To
No
that.
Diane at all. No.
Well, that's fair enough.
There's barely any Carl McLaughlin, to be honest. There's probably more Carl McLaughlin in the deleted
Yeah, because
scenes
obviously
than in the
that's
film.
But like, I think we spoke about this off the podcast. The scene where David Bowie comes in and he's in the office. Is that in the film as well?
That's in the film.
Because like David Bowie comes in and he's like, you're not Dale Cooper. Or
I mean, this will have relevance for anyone who's finished the series.
This is what we're going to get into.
He's pointing at Agent Cooper saying, he isn't what you think he is.
Yeah.
The reason being, at the end of the show, Bob takes over.
Yeah, let's get onto that.
Yeah.
But
the
deleted
have you
scenes,
seen all the deleted scenes?
I watched about an hour of them.
Because at the end of the deleted scene, again, we spoke about this off the, but apparently this is the last scene in the series. But the last scene.
Are we jumping straight to the end of Twin Peaks season 2?
Well, we're just going back and forth, I think, at the moment.
It's like fucking Twin Peaks. Isn't it?
Yeah, just
the last scene of the missing pieces. Dale Cooper's like in a bathroom and he bangs his head against this mirror.
Which is the end of the
That's
show.
the end of season.
I've already told Nick this.
I know he's told me about it, but like
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out like why is he like that? I don't get it.
Like,
but obviously I understand now.
So are you telling me that in the missing pieces, which is the deleted scenes from the film, there's a scene that pretty much mirrors the finale
But
of...
no, this is the thing. I think they'll just put in the end of series 2.
Yeah,
Do you think?
Whatever
I
Nick's
think
watched,
because literally he smashes his head against the mirror. Then like the police officer, in there, and I'm sat there going, wait, this is a prequel. Why they've not met?
Yeah,
they've not met. And then they bang against the door, and then he just lies on the carpet.
I think
The line on the carpet bit is not in the final episode.
Oh, is it
no,
not?
this is what I
He
was going
bangs
to
his
say. I
head
think
and then he looks at the he looks towards the camera and goes, yeah, and he laughs.
Annie?
the deleted scenes are extended versions of what you'll see in the TV show. I've not seen the TV show.
Oh, is that
but
what it is?
Because when you're saying like David Bowie goes into the police station, the deleted scene is much longer than what happens in the film, and this
it's
also
an extended
happens.
version of it.
Yeah, it also happens. In
I was
other
confused
scenes
about that
as well.
because you know Carl McLaughlin's character, he kept doing this thing where he was trying to appear on the CCTV and
I
then
love
nip straight
that,
into the room
yeah.
and then do that. And why
He had a dream that he was going to see this on the camera.
why did then David Bowie enter
He teleported in there.
and he was still stood in front of the camera, but he was in the room watching himself on
Because
the camera?
he's not Agent... That's Bob. It's not Agent Cooper.
See, I totally
That's
didn't
what I
get
mean. This is
that.
what you don't get.
Alright,
Yeah.
like John, have you got any further questions that like John could answer?
Well, that was
before we move on?
literally it. I was like, who is David
he-
Bowie
okay,
and
yeah.
why does he just
I
appear?
feel what we need to do is we need to present your notes and we need to talk about the actual TV show to give context to this film because Jono and Sam have watched the film here and there's no context at all. And the problem is, I think if you watch that film without watching it, watching the TV series, it's not a good film. You won't get it. You just will not get it.
Okay.
Do you follow me on this?
Oh, I follow you, yeah.
We totally follow you in this, but the film is another matter. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
All right. Well, John, like, go through your notes for the film. Like,
I don't know if it'll work like that because it's a TV show like that.
what do you want to do? Talk about the TV show first.
Yeah, do that if you want. Yeah.
Let's talk about the TV show. All right.
Like season 1 for me was a cracking season.
Absolutely.
It was cracking. Like
The way that I've seen some reviews and this is not a general consensus, but this seems to be an opinion that's held by a lot of people that season 1 it's a masterpiece. The season 1 of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Season 2 starts off, for me, I'm talking on a personal opinion here. Season 2
totally
starts
right,
off really well, and then goes completely off the rails. Whilst I still enjoyed it, it turns into like a strange supernatural soap. Like
Yeah, a bit,
stuff
maybe.
happens.
Is that what you were saying before, though? Is that when David Lynch
Yeah, David
started
Lynch wasn't
becoming
involved at
less
that point that
connected?
much.
Is that all right? Did David Lynch stop being involved? That
After the Leland reveal?
Was it
David
about
Lynch was,
episode 10, that?
Yeah.
Because, like, I've watched up to about episode 10, and the last 2 episodes I watched, I was so engaged in those episodes. Like, I could not keep my eyes off the screen. They were amazing, them 2 episodes.
it goes into a lot of like really weird stuff that has. There's no big arc. Well, there's a big arc. To it, but like the story arcs are not. The minor things like
There are a
with
couple of
Ben
minor things. I mean, the worst of it is Benjamin Horn
going mental,
when he's going mental.
and he turns into General.
Yeah, Custer or whatever. it
Yeah,
is,
and he relives the American Civil War.
yeah, that's the worst of it.
Because that's mad.
Yeah.
Like, and then Audrey's character like completely changes from
You think
being
so?
like this sort of sultry, seductive,
Yeah.
like strange, odd
Like
girl.
a sex kitten kind of thing.
Yeah,
So,
to being like, oh, I'm in charge and I'm
Yeah.
an authoritative figure. And I read about it. The actress who played her didn't want to take part in Miss Twin Peaks. So there's an episode. I think it's like it's the penultimate episode of
I
the
forgot
show.
about that. Yeah.
There's a show about Miss Twin Peaks. It's like who's going to be crowned Miss Twin Peaks. And originally they wanted Audrey to be in the competition, but the actress was like, well, this doesn't fit my character. And so to get her into the scene, because she needed to be in that scene because of what happened, they gave her a speech role before the main Twin Peaks, like Miss Twin Peaks show. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Some of the actors and actresses had a bit of control over their character, but
Well, rightly so as well. To be
yeah, that's the thing. Like I look at this show, and you look at the music, and you look at music and cinematography are absolutely 100% top notch on this. The show goes off the rails, probably a third of the way into season 2. John, would you agree? You've watched.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I would say off the rails. There's a couple of, it's not as good as it was before. For me, the finale, which is directed by Lynch, he came back for the finale. That's as good as anything from
Yeah.
the start of the show, kind of thing.
Do you remember the finale of season 2?
Yeah.
That episode is nightmarish. So
Yeah,
the
I
majority,
love it, yeah.
the majority of the episode takes place in. So you'll have seen it in the film, the room
Black
with the red
Lodge.
curtains,
Yeah.
like in the Black Lodge.
Yeah.
So the majority of the film takes place there, and it's absolutely mental because you're watching it after watching 29 episodes, and then you go into that one, and you're like, "What on earth is going on
Well,
here?"
they were the bits we were confused, but like they were just appearing in the red room with the small man in the red
Yeah.
suit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the other man with one arm.
But just
See,
to clarify with
you-
that though, that is meant to be confusing. You know what I mean? You're not meant to.
No, I
watch that and
totally
know
get
exactly
that
what's
because,
going
like
on.
you said, didn't you say the way he spoke, they did it back
They literally filmed the entire scene backwards and then reversed
and
it.
then
yeah.
played it because where he was speaking kind of went high in certain points. didn't
That's
it?
because it like instead of just saying like from the series anyway, he says like, "Would you like some coffee?" But he would have said whatever. Like,
It's like,
Joe,
"Yeah,
you
yeah."
how would you say?
Yeah,
I'm sure you've been
spot on.
practicing this one.
I can do it, but I can't.
Oh, you would like some coffee?
Like they would have said that like, "Would you like some coffee?" But in reverse, and then they would have just flipped the.
Because every time you say a word, you peek. At
Yeah,
the
yeah,
wrong point.
exactly.
Like this thing, that character they cast as the dwarf in those scenes, he could already speak backwards. That was a skill he'd learned as a child, so he already knew how to fluently speak backwards.
So we didn't
which
even
is
need to
mental.
flip it.
You are.
He didn't even need to flip it. Do you know what I didn't get when he spoke and then he went and started doing some mad speaking and we're just like, what is
I am
this?
the arm and I speak like this.
Yeah. He's the arm. What?
Like in the deleted scenes, there's an extended version of how it happens in that room, and it goes on for far too. It goes on for.
I loved it though. I actually loved them.
I was in
scenes
hysterics watching it. I was just like, I can't
He
believe
was
this is happening.
backwards.
I think you are meant to find it funny, some of it as well. Lynch is known for his humour, and a lot of it is meant to be, if you laugh, you are meant to laugh at something.
It's like,
I had flashbacks to crack.
Jesus, was this when you were drunk or when you were from worse?
I imagine you found the Black Lodge now in Poland. That's just where you were.
Black
that
Lodge is
week.
every pub in Poland. The Black Lodge.
No, like with Twin Peaks, it's like Jono and Sam, you've both watched the film and not the show. The problem the reason that got booed in cinemas is that people wanted more of the TV show, and it wasn't the TV
Yeah.
show. Like the TV show is this really insular, like show where it takes place in like a very small number of places.
Yeah.
When you go to the film, they're showing shots of Philadelphia and like a school bus in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Philadelphia and Portland and.
You don't like. People wanted more Twin Peaks, even
Yeah.
though the ratings went down during season 2. When you actually watch Twin Peaks, you can probably name about 10 different scenes, like as in like sceneries, like sets. Other than that, there's nothing like there's no outlandish, strange places. It's all set in this tiny little town in the middle of nowhere, and you recognise the scenes. So it's the police station. It's like
The high
Leo's
school.
house, the
I
high
completely
school.
did not get that from the film. It felt like every scene was in a
Somewhere
different
else.
location.
But
It never
that's-
came back to a different.
That's one of the
ending.
reasons that like, I think it's a negative of the film that it doesn't take. It's probably the idea was probably to take it a bit more wider, but
Yeah.
Twin Peaks, the TV show, is such an insular, small thing, and that's what I kind of it's a comfy watch. I know I said the same about Stardew Valley last week, but it's a comfy watch where.
I wouldn't totally agree with that. It's not.
Okay.
I don't think it's meant to be a comfy watch.
No,
Like,
sorry, I don't mean comfy watch.
with the film, like Lynch is adamant with the film that he's literally doing things the audience don't want to do. He's not interested in giving the audience what they want. He's doing the complete opposite of that.
Can I clarify comfy watch?
Yeah.
Comfy watch, I mean, like, you can watch it and the places you see are familiar to you. So you can watch episode 1.
Oh, no, yeah, totally, yeah.
You watch episode 1 or episode 28 and
Yeah.
you will know the scene that they will be filming in,
Yeah.
because there's only a handful of places they actually film the episodes.
But that's the thing, I feel like Lynch was so kind of jaded by that point that he went the complete other way. He made the film and thought, I'm not giving people anything of what they want. I'm not going to go back and tell you what happened to Kyle MacLachlan. I'm going to go earlier and tell you how Laura Palmer died. Nobody cared about that, you know what I mean? But
So when you
Because everyone knew when they watched the TV
everyone knows,
show.
yeah.
Everyone knows
They
that
explain it in
prequel
the show,
film.
yeah.
I know, like, John and Tammy haven't watched the film, the TV show, but everyone knows how that goes down. So, like, why he made a prequel film in the first place,
Yeah.
I really cannot understand at this point.
Out of spite.
Because
Almost.
there are things in the TV show that you never get a sort of resolution to that would have been a better film. And
Yeah.
I know you're saying about there was the idea of doing a trilogy of films. This could have been the first one, the prequel. But I'm really not bothered about what happened in that film.
see, I'm different to you. Like, going back to the Prometheus thing, everyone hates Prometheus because it's before Alien. It doesn't do anything what Alien's doing. I love that. I don't want to see Alien again. I want to see something different.
You want to, yeah.
And it's a similar feeling with this film kind of thing. Just got a few more notes here to go on to. An example of Lynch's humour, a scene near the start of the film where Agent Desmond has pulled over a school bus full of prostitutes.
Oh
See
yeah.
that? Just random
Really
humour.
strange.
Yeah.
Just
I'd baffled by that soon.
yeah.
Yeah, there's no
Kinda-
reason for it. He just
kinda-
finds it funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys know that David Lynch plays Gordon Cole?
I do, yeah.
Film.
I did recognise
deaf
him.
guy.
He's the deaf one that keeps shouting. He keeps going, "Hello, are you there?"
Agent
that-
Cooper!
He was in the series as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, in a TV show, yeah. That's
Was that actually David Lynch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Again, just, he can't act, he just puts himself in
I was
it.
gonna say I only knew that through like looking at IMDb. But
Same. I've seen that he was in.
did you have a big role in the TV show?
He's in it quite a bit.
It's a minor role, but he's in it.
Recurring character, like
Yeah.
anything comes back in. Jono, you mentioned before, the character of Lil.
Yes.
Passing the information to Agent
Right.
Desmond. You're not a fan?
For anyone that doesn't know who Lil is, say it, John. What is she?
Well, Gordon Cole wheels her out to give information to Agent Desmond. And she does some weird dance, scrunching her face up.
In the red dress.
In the
Yeah,
red
basically
dress.
she's
Okay.
got red hair, a red dress, a pale blue flower on her left side.
Yeah.
But apparently her body language gives messages without
Well,
her saying any
Yeah,
words.
Gordon Cole tells Agent Cooper she's my mother's sister's girl, which means the uncle's missing. That's the
Yeah.
clue. Just random stuff
Where
like that.
where the stitching's a different colour on the pocket means
Yeah.
something else.
And she's wearing a blue rose on her
But
shirt.
you won't tell. But who's Kiefer Sutherland's character?
Sam.
You won't tell Sam what the blue rose means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
He keeps
keeps going
asking
back to that.
what's the blue rose mean. He keeps saying, "Oh, I
Well,
can't tell you that."
No one knows what that
No
means.
one
Like,
knows.
Like, people have theories about
But
it.
it's everything. It's like the way she moves her mouth and the way she turns herself round.
She
like
makes
she,
a fist and
she
the
makes
way
a
her
fist.
feet are.
yeah, the way the
out
feet's
there.
tapping means it's going to be a lot of leg work.
Yep.
It's so bizarre. It's like getting all this information, but why is it necessary? Because you're not being recorded. So
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could be done in a much easier manner.
Yeah, I get it. He's not interested in logic.
It's totally difficult.
Yeah. Going on from that, the Blue Rose thing, there's a few theories about it, like you guys have watched the show. Do you remember Operation Blue Book at all from the TV show?
Have I seen this? I've not watched all season 2.
Oh, you might not have seen it.
Have I not seen it?
Operation Blue Book? Mean anything to you there? It's the army major guy, I can't think what it's called.
Bobby's dad.
Bobby's dad. The
Right.
army are basically working on Operation
Yeah.
Blue Book.
Oh, Donna Davis.
Yeah, which is causing the whole, well, basically Twin Peaks to be weird. You know, that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's almost like a mist kind of alternate reality
Yeah.
kind of thing. And the theory is that the Blue Rose murders the victims are because of the Operation Blue Book. It's just one of
Okay.
the theories that's out there. No one knows whether it's true or not, kind of thing. But
Right, okay.
yeah, going back to the show, one really awful bit: Teresa Banks' fingernail being popped off.
Oh,
And there's a letter T underneath.
Letter T, yeah.
The-
That's going back
so-
to the show.
Yeah, go back
That
to
was
the
in
show.
a
like-
lot, that wasn't it?
yeah,
Like, he
the-
kept pulling little letters out of people's nails.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
under the nails, or is it in the mouth? One of them.
The different areas, aren't they?
It was so
Yeah.
funny. He was just like looking, examined most of her body, nothing, and all of a sudden he's like, I think there's someone under a fingernail, and he
Yeah.
he gets this like big sort of portable microscope, which could be really small, but it's this humongous green box that he carries around everywhere.
I was
with
going to
him.
say he's carrying that since the beginning
Oh,
of the
yes, he
film.
is, yeah.
There's like no need for it.
But
Yeah.
those letters, like didn't he pull like a letter from under Laura Palmer's nail
did,
as well?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm assuming it's going to spell Twin Peaks.
No, I can't
Because it
remember.
starts with a T, so
I've
I
not
was
watched
like,
the show for like 2 years, so I can't remember now what they spelled out in the end.
I don't think it spells anything out. I think it's just.
Are you sure? I thought it meant something, but I can't think now. Yeah.
I was going to bring up a point. I was thinking, you know, when the agents from the first 30-minute part of the sort of, I'd call it a mini film because it has no, it just says it's a year before, where he says since he's been missing and there's a car there and it says let's rock on the
Oh,
windscreen.
I'm glad you picked up on that. Agent Cooper turns up. The car's there with "Let's Rock" in
Yeah.
red on the
Yeah.
thingy. The only reason that's significant is the first thing that the little guy in the red room tells Agent Cooper is "Let's rock" when he turns up in the show.
So he needs,
So it's a
he
weird
knows
little
he's looking
callback.
for it, yeah.
When he hears that in the show, he's like, "I've heard this before," like, and it was on Agent Desmond's car. Yeah.
My only other throwback to that first 30 minutes was the relevance to the ring with the green sort of almost emerald.
Well, that wasn't in the show at all. That's totally new for the film. That they've put this ring in there.
It's almost like a dead arm. It gives you.
that was a lot in the deleted scenes.
Yeah.
The little ring.
Can you
With a little
explain
hole
that?
on
Because
it.
I don't get it. Because it said.
I don't again. no one gets it.
I don't know because
Yeah.
the I assume I can call them prostitutes.
Well, the Teresa woman, Teresa
Like
Banks.
she had
Teresa
it
Banks.
in the deleted scene. She had it on her in the deleted
Yeah.
scene, and I think she seemed to pretty much go mad at that point. Like as soon as she
Yeah.
got the ring, it's like that ring somehow the reason
I
for.
think that's what it's supposed to do.
That is
Yeah.
it. Anyone who wears it goes mad and dies, basically.
Yeah, that's like I think she got it, and then I think a nurse got it off her in the deleted scene. This is anyway,
Yeah.
and she instantly just looked nuts.
Yeah.
I think Laura Palmer got after her.
She did, yeah. She
Um,
ended up with it, but she didn't know how she ended up with it. I think it was through the picture that she was given by the old lady. There's a picture of a door.
No,
in
she
it.
ends up with it at the very end. It just turns up in the train cart. But
Alright.
There is a little bit before though, you know, when the agent finds it before he goes missing, and he finds it under the trailer. But then when we go back
Yeah.
to see that
Yeah.
same trailer part, the trailer's missing.
yeah, the trailer's just gone by that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Okay.
I was going to say my point towards the ring was the fact that he found it so easily. It was like he knew where to go and find it.
Well,
Because he walked in the opposite direction, didn't he,
He
to where
he
he'd been
felt like he
directed,
could-
and he was saying, "Oh, where are you going?" Like,
again, this is like that trailer we went to is the trailer owned at the time by the grandmother and the grandson. You
oh,
know,
because he says like, it's the same. Surname,
yeah, so
wasn't
that's
it?
why he goes that way, and they're in the show as well. In the film, they're called Chalfont. In the show, they're called Tremaine.
Right.
The theory, again, it's all theories. The theory being that they mentioned that the people before them in the trailer were called Chalfont, as if wherever they live, they take on the surname of the people who lived there before. In the show, they're called Tremaine because they live in a different place,
Right.
and they take on the name of a different family.
Wow.
It's mental.
Yeah.
I had something more about the ring then, I forgot what it was.
No, yeah, just.
Yeah.
Well, edit this out.
You mentioned earlier, I like the fact We're 35 minutes in before the Twin Peaks theme kicks in. You see the town logo,
Yeah,
Lower
I
Palmer
see what
walking
you
down the
mean, because
street.
you say that the first scene was just outside the town, or did you?
Well, that's Portland into the first 35 minutes is a day park.
The Deer Park, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't it say it was called like the Fat Trout something?
Fat Trout Trailer Park.
Trailer Park.
Ah, yeah. And again, going back to the film idea, the only reason that Agent Desmond was in there, it was meant to be a spin-off. It was meant, there were meant to be other films telling you what happened to him, what happened to David Bowie, all that kind of stuff.
And
So-
they, cause
And that's where the trilogy of films would come in.
Because,
It's
yeah,
like a film
possibly.
each kind of thing.
and because the film, everyone hated it, it just didn't happen.
That's
So,
fair enough.
yeah. Going back to last week, bit of a Nightmare on Elm Street comparison. Did you get that at all? Goes with a family being terrorised in a middle-class house by a demon.
Yeah, I can see where you're getting
He
at.
comes at night through the window.
yeah, but I didn't pick it. I wouldn't have.
No,
guess
I
put
kind of got a
them
little bit of a feeling of it, but and with the painting.
yeah, the painting
So
was
it's a picture.
It's like I didn't know if it was a picture or a painting, but it was basically just of a room with a door, and the door was slightly red. So I totally
Yeah.
think it must be the meaning of the red room.
It's worth noting as well that there's a picture of Laura that ends most of the episodes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's a picture of Laura, and when the credits come up, it's a photo of her looking forwards. In the film, they use a slightly different photo where she's looking in a different direction.
Ah, I didn't know that. I just
Yeah.
figured it was the same stock photo.
Yeah, so it looks
Yeah.
exactly the same, but when you actually look at them together, they're
Yeah.
different photos. And she's looking straight forward, and the one in the film she's looking towards the camera in the shot that I've seen.
Right. I never knew
Yeah,
that. I didn't realise.
Why? Why? Just use the same photo.
Another just a weird little theory here. Did you notice the constant references to telephone poles in the film?
Yeah.
Yeah, they kept looking at the mast.
A lot of
They
shots.
were showing the numbers on the masts.
Yeah.
They kept going.
Telephone pole number 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I got onto that, but I didn't know what the relevance was.
And it's all stood out to me. I never knew really what it was. Even in the box set, the Blu-ray box set, there's a big picture of it, and they wouldn't put it on there if it wasn't kind of
Yeah, if it wasn't
a
relevant.
deal. You know what I mean? And some of the theories I found online, people think that the evil of Twin Peaks travels through like power lines or something. And I know it sounds really goofy, but
It
kind
kind
of does make sense because there's one bit in the Black Lodge or one of those weird cutscenes where one voice just goes electricity.
Yeah, yeah.
And it kind of that could be a thing like that could actually
That could be the conduit.
yeah. And like David Lynch does say that all of his films make sense. You've just got to work it out. Like he won't tell anyone what they mean, but there is a
Okay.
logic behind them.
Yeah.
So that could be it.
Yeah.
And David Bowie as well. Maybe he's travelling through like power lines or whatever.
Yeah,
He did most of his time with his music though, didn't he? So.
Dave Bowie's like supposed to be in season 3. I don't know if he filmed the scenes that he was supposed to be in before he
It
died.
was meant to be. I don't think he is though.
Did he not actually come through?
Surely
No.
can't have.
And it's weird. Like Miguel Ferrer, who's like a famous actor from the '80s, was in the show. He's Albert.
The
Cooper's-
FBI agent,
Cooper's friend,
one
yeah.
of the best characters in the
I think
show.
I liked him. Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
he was good. He's in the new show, but he died in January. So
No.
yeah, died in real life. Yeah.
Don S. Davis is dead as well. He won't be in the Evie, will he?
So was that before the show was filmed?
Don S. Davis, do you know he's the general, isn't he?
Yeah, the army.
Oh, has he died as well?
He died in about 2010.
This
or
is
something.
dead sad for me because I've just watched the show.
Didn't
Yeah.
someone else die from Twin Peaks?
They did.
A couple of weeks ago.
Well, this
Like last
is,
week
I
or the
don't know
week
if it's the one you mean, but there was a doctor in it who is like 91 in real life, and it
Yeah.
brought him back for series 3. You know the doctor who treats all the families in the TV show.
Yeah,
The old
yeah.
doctor. He's 91 in real life, and he
Yeah.
died like a month ago. And it's like
I'd heard someone died recently, and it said a list of things he'd been in. Twin
Yeah.
Peaks was one of them.
Yeah, the log lady who's I wouldn't say a pivotal. Well, she's not a main character of the TV series,
She's
but
a
she's like a
recurring-
pivotal
She's a
character.
recurring character.
Recurring character. She on the Blu-ray she gives an intro to every episode. If you want to watch that.
yeah.
She died in 2015.
Oh,
So
did she? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're just. God, they're going after the FBI one, and now you're gutted about the log lady.
Yeah, I thought she'd be in.
Like, end the show. Let's just have a.
So like, I mean, I've not seen the end of the second season, but like, does Don S. Davis look like he's gonna have like another role in this third season? And
Well,
after that, or
the way it finished was he basically told Cooper about the Black Lodge. Is that right? Because
so like,
he got a message for Cooper through like this weird.
so do you
thing.
reckon like he could have been in the third season if?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, he,
Yeah,
I know he died. Like, was it 2008 or
Yeah.
10? Around that time anyway.
Can we talk about Andy from the Twin Peaks series? Andy is the goofy, dopey police officer.
It's not in the film, is he? No, yeah.
Well, he's
Andy.
not in the film at all,
Yeah.
so Jono and Sam, you won't have met him.
He was in the deleted
Yeah,
scenes.
cutscenes.
Was he?
Yeah.
Was he?
He
Right.
was in the deleted scenes.
Him and
Yeah.
Harry
He's
Truman, yeah.
he's one of the best characters from Twin Peaks for me.
Oh, do you think so? I was never really into the whole Andy and what's the blonde receptionist called?
Is it Laura? No, it's not
Something like
Laura.
that.
It's I can't.
I know
you know,
you.
I was never really into
Yeah,
them two
it's-
personally, but
Oh, Andy was great. Did you not like the scene like this just in the TV show where it's him and the guy called Dick, where they don't know who's. They've both slept with the receptionist and they don't know who Davey is.
Yeah.
And when they find little Nicky, who's like parents died and there's like a really, really sad backstory to it. But before you find that out, Andy and Dick are talking about this child saying, I think he's like the son of the devil. And it's just this dead one of the bits where Dick tells him about a story of him and the camera slowly zooms in on Andy's face and just you know how bad some of the effects are in the original Twin Peaks
Yeah,
TV
yeah.
series. Like a little fiery circle appears next to Andy's head and it's just Nicky dressed as a devil going just on the scene and Andy's like oh my god because Andy's just a dopey police officer. I loved Andy.
Sam, you might have met him, like when you watched the deleted scenes. Like there was a bit in the police station, and there was two police officers at the end of the table. There was a really dopey one and one with like long hair.
Yeah.
It was in like the first half of the. So I think you might have seen it to be honest.
It was in the first half.
I think it was, but like yeah, you might have watched him if you watched that.
I don't know if you. I can't really. All I'm doing with the deleted scenes is referencing them into the
No,
film,
that's
so I
fair
don't
enough.
know
But
whether-
yeah, I like it, that the deleted scenes I watched anyway. They were in it like, who's the sheriff of you know the one with the curly hair? The sheriff. He was talking to him. I can't remember what he said to him, and Andy just kind of blankly stared for like a couple of minutes. And it's like, oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. You're saying that you're saying we need to go and do this, and you went, no, I just don't know what you're on about.
I think
It's like the most dopey response I've ever seen.
one of the interesting things about Andy is that he was actually just once David Lynch's driver, and that's how he got
I
the
didn't
job
know that.
in Twin Peaks as the dopey police deputy.
Oh, that's cool.
Lynch again being a bit quirky.
It's
there,
like-
just giving a-
Yeah,
giving
like
people
whilst we
jokes.
talk about that, Killer Bob wasn't actually supposed to be in the film. He was one of the I can't remember if he was the costume designer or like the set designer, but they caught him in the mirror of one of the shots.
Is this in
And
the
he's-
film? Is it the film or the TV series?
This is in the TV series.
I was gonna say, you said the film, so I was like,
Yeah, so TV
I feel
and
like
film.
he was in the series first.
Yeah. So like they were shooting a scene and they accidentally caught his face in the mirror in one of the shots, and they were like, "You, that was creepy.
Yeah.
We're gonna put you as like the main bad guy in the film." And it's just like the set designer, and he's just a guy.
Yeah,
That's
again.
amazing.
But
Well,
it's great. It's like because Killer Bob's like he's not a bad actor at all in that film.
He's creepy as fuck.
He's really creepy, and yeah, he was basically hired for that role, not as an actor, but just being caught in a mirror off shot.
Yeah.
And that goes with what you were saying earlier, John, about how it's just a strange casting sometimes. If you look the part,
If he thinks you look interesting, you know, that's
Yeah.
all he cares about. Yeah.
I mean, he totally looked interesting to me. He was bored. He did border on creepy, and especially some of the shots. You know, like you.
Well, I'm just literally the next note here.
Yeah.
Getting to the stuff that scared me. You claim not to be scared by
I'm not
anything in this
scared by it. It was weird.
Like I find this film like pretty terrifying. Some of it, the bit where Lola Palmer's talking to the shut-in Lenny Von Dolan, and she tells him "Fire walk with me," and her face just turns blue with black lips.
Oh yeah, and
That's
she has,
scary.
and she has the really yellow teeth.
I find that pretty scary.
Who is that man that she's talking to? Because he starts crying.
Again, it's from a TV show. The only reason it's in the film is that she leaves her diary with him in the TV show.
Yeah, because it does say in that it says she does mention the diary to me. He does get it.
Yeah, and there's a shut-in, he can't leave the house, so like that's why she goes to see.
Yeah, and I wondered why he didn't chase her when she ran off. They kissed and she ran off.
Yeah.
And he just he stayed by the door with the diary with the missing page. But I wondered why he couldn't leave to go after her.
Yeah, he's a shut-in. He's got like I can't think what it's called now when he can't leave the house.
Agoraphobia.
Yeah. Another scary thing, the ceiling fan. I find that pretty terrifying.
Right.
That was
The
the bit
ceiling
that I
fan
found
just
weird.
just it's relevant to what it is. It must be every time he sneaks into the girl's bedroom
Well,
because
that's
he's
what it
drugged
is.
up the wife.
Whenever he turns that on, he's Bob, pretty much.
Well, basically, yeah. The point we're trying to make is that the father it keeps creeping into the bedroom, which is
Yeah, and there's a cutscene, which I assume you guys have seen, where the ceiling fan talks to her.
Yeah.
Says, "I want to taste through your mouth," which is like just mental.
That's a deleted scene as well, where
Yeah.
sort of like, because in the film, sort of like, there's a shot of up the stairs and the ceiling fan, and the ceiling fan is going in slow motion. You hear her talking a little
I
bit.
remember seeing this. Like she's like walking up the stairs, isn't she? And then and she's just kind of looking up.
In the deleted scene, basically she looks at the ceiling fan for like a good minute, and she is just mesmerised by what's going on, and like she has like a really straight face, but in this minute it slowly sort of creeps into like a really
Like a
weird
manic-
grin.
a manic-
And her
cut-
face
cut-
is like kind of grinning in it.
Yeah,
like,
it
it's like
goes,
slowly
so you
going
see her
to
sort of
Yeah.
smiling
Oh,
and sort of
yeah.
eyes widen, and then it just like
And-
cuts, and then she just like turns and
and
runs,
because-
runs
be-
down the stairs.
It's because
like,
it's because her mum's like Laura
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing. It's like okay.
but in the film, you just don't get any of that. I think she just you hear the fan, and it's talking a little bit, but she just runs past it. I think.
Yeah.
There's these other bits as well, like the bit I was talking about where he gives. It must be a nightly thing. He gives the wife
Well,
pills.
this might highlight the film. Yeah, that's what's coming on to.
Alright.
Bob in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on. Explain
it's,
your hand.
again, I find it terrifying. Like he's basically Bob. He drugs the mother with that drug
But
milk.
he seems to do it regularly.
Yeah, yeah,
'cause
she
she
must know,
looks
like-
like she's an addict. You can
Right.
see.
He drugs her with the milk, turns the ceiling fan on, and the next thing you know, Laura's in a bed, and
she-
Bob's creeping in through the window. I think that's
Slightly
terrifying,
before that, though, just before the fan comes on, it's preparation for bedtime. So part of the scene's him sort of giving her the mother the milk. Laura's in her bedroom. She has 2 lines of cocaine before she goes to bed.
Just to knock off.
I think. No, I get the impression she started taking the drugs to phase out the actual event because
Yeah,
it's a
definitely.
recurring event.
It's a theory. You could.
Why would anyone take 2 lines of cocaine before bed?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think her drug abuse is because she's been abused. by her
That's
dad.
how she has
No.
that link with Bobby. Not
No,
Bob.
but like surely, like when
Oh, so-
all right. Let me say when Bob crawls through the window and
which
starts,
is what John says is one of
I
the
find that
scary-
terrifying, that bit when
Yeah, or
Bob's
yeah,
in the
yeah,
window
yeah.
peeking.
No,
in,
yeah, yeah.
like,
But the moment that she reacts and sees Leland's face, which is her dad,
yeah,
She sort of grabs his cheeks.
she's shocked to the point on that scene where she doesn't realise that it's Leland, her dad.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying her coke abuse is because of it being her dad. Maybe the coke abuse
I'm
is
not saying it's
because
because of her dad. It's because of the general what's happening to her.
But,
she's
but she was a tearaway anyway. If like
Yeah, she
in
totally-
the diary that was released, which was like John said, written by David Lynch's daughter, she had like 40 sexual partners, and she was like 18.
Well, we
and she
see
was
that in
just
the-
well into the drugs.
But to
Yeah,
be
she was-
fair though, she was first raped by Bob when she was 12.
that's true.
So
that's
like
true.
that's what messed her up, kind of thing.
See.
So she's been getting raped by her dad since she was 12 years old.
God, that's-
It's so messed up that.
But what I'm trying to say is like that she doesn't
She doesn't know
at
it's
that time
Leland.
know it was
Yeah.
Leland.
There's even one bit earlier in the film where she catches him at home. I mean, that's creepy as well. When she goes into a
Yeah.
bedroom and Bob's
And
behind the
he's
cabinet.
there trying to, and she's like, she asks him the pertinent question, were you home at this time?
Yeah.
Did you take...
And he says
did you-"
no at first, and then.
But he goes,
then
oh, I
Bob
might have
changes his
been,
hand. Yeah, he
because
goes,
obviously
I
there's a
popped
page
home on
missing
that
out of the
Friday.
diary, which
Yeah.
highlights her speaking about Bob, isn't it? Speaking about...
Yeah. So even though she's seen him then, I still don't think she believed it until Leland appeared.
Until she physically grabbed his
Okay.
face and caught him during
Yeah.
mid.
And just another quick point, going to the train car at the end of the film, there's a bit where she's tied up, and Leland tells her, "Well, how does he word it now? I never knew, I never thought you knew it was me." Or was it the other way around? And then Bob tells her
No.
on the other side. Oh, so
Leland
Leland says, "I always thought you knew it was me,"
me.
and Bob tells her, "I never thought you knew it was me." So they like, Bob thought he was appearing to her as Leland. When in fact, to her, he was always appearing as
He was
Bob.
always appearing.
Right. Okay.
Just a weird
This-
little thing like that.
Yeah, I mean, like in the show, like spoilers for when you do watch it, is like Leland finally realizes what's happened when he's been arrested and put in a jail cell, and Bob exits his body after slamming his head against the wall.
So,
and Leland.
See, I didn't.
I was just gonna say, like in the film, like does it go past like?
It goes well past this. Leland doesn't realise that he's
Because
done
obviously,
it.
like I've seen that far in the
of
series,
course,
so it goes as far as that in the film.
It goes as far as Leland realising in a jail cell what has happened and that he's been possessed to basically rape and murder his own daughter.
Oh, right, okay.
But he realises this in the final few seconds, and Killer Bob basically tells Cooper and the rest of them, I'm going to make him realise just before he dies what has happened. And Leland, obviously, he's going to die. He's got like a head injury. He finally realises what's going on, and he basically says, like, I can't believe what I've done. I've killed my own daughter. And, like, it's been my body that has done all of this. It's really messed up when you think about it.
I didn't know what the link, why there was a Bob and why, like with Bob and Leland. I didn't know he was possessed by him. I just thought it was a.
Okay, we'll get on to this. Like, there's some deeper theories of what actually.
Well, I
happening.
thought it was a coping mechanism for her.
Well,
okay, that's a theory as well.
We'll definitely come back to that.
We'll come back
I
to
want
that.
to come back onto that as well. So.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Come back to that.
I'm on your.
Carry on with the film, and then we'll come back to that.
Quick quote, Laura. So you want to fuck the homecoming queen? Quite
yeah, that was pretty good. That was the two. Well, to put that into scenery, she goes to a bar after she's been with her best friend, and she's saying, "You're not coming with me." And she goes to a bar on her own, and two men come and sit near her, and she grabs him by the balls. One of them, doesn't she? And she basically says that to him, doesn't she? So you want to fuck the homecoming queen?
Yeah.
Then Donna does turn up, doesn't she?
Yeah, well, she's there. She's there watching the two men,
yeah.
and to sort of like go to the table and give her a drink and whatever. And she comes over and she tries to be like her, but that's not what Laura wants for Donna. She's like, "You're not like me." Yeah.
She freaks out saying, "This life isn't for you.
This isn't.
I don't want you to be like me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never wanted this for you.
Just another quick thing. You guys won't get this, but Annie in the film turns up in Laura's bed for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is Cooper's like girlfriend from the show, who he's trying to save at the end of the show.
Well,
it's like you will not get that at all.
I'll just finish though. She tells Laura, Goodale is in the Black Lodge. Write it in your diary. And she doesn't do it. And it's like that would have like solved everything.
That bit where she basically tells Laura, Cooper is in the Good Lodge.
The Black Lodge.
Black Lodge.
Sorry,
the
the good Cooper is in the Black
The
Lodge.
Good Cooper.
Sweet.
So Laura, like.
What I'm gathering from this, like correct me if I'm wrong, but the entire series, Cooper's the bad Cooper.
No. Well, this is the other thing. Going on from this, Lynch has got a thing about time as cyclical. Like, it's the same with Mulholland Drive. My theory of that film is the start of the film is the end. Like, so like Annie, in the Black Lodge, time isn't relative. So like Annie appears to Laura before Cooper is bad Cooper. But she's telling her the good Cooper's in the Black Lodge because he's always there. Like, you know what I mean? It's,
John, would you agree that it's like it is dream sequences and like dreaming of the future?
Kind of. Yeah.
So when
very
like,
dreamlike, definitely.
like when Annie appears and says that the good Cooper is in the Black Lodge, that has such a significant. I watched.
You
this
have to
film
watch the show to get
just
that,
after the season 2 finale. That has a massive significance because the final scene of season 2, spoilers, is that you've seen it, it's the deleted scenes, but. It's Cooper slamming his head against the mirror, and in the mirror reflection, it's Bob. So Bob has taken over Cooper's body as the doppelganger,
and that's how it finishes.
Yeah, and that's how the entire show finishes. It's this massive cliffhanger, and the good Cooper, like Annie says, is in the Black Lodge.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to jump ahead to the end of the film quickly. Okay. The film finishes with Cooper with his arm on Laura's shoulder in the Black Lodge.
Yeah.
And that's the good Cooper. They're both just trapped in the Black Lodge.
There's like not to jump around everywhere, but it's either the final episode or the penultimate episode. Laura says to Cooper, "We'll meet again in 25 years."
Yeah, see you in 25 years.
Which blows my mind.
Yeah.
That was released in 91, and then the film in 92. And then in 2017, we've gone back to Twin Peaks.
In real time.
In real time, we've gone back, and they've said we're going to meet again in 25 years.
Get to see Dale Cooper, who has aged 25 years.
But this is it. Like, there's a scene where he wears makeup, and he's wearing makeup to make himself look like 30 years older.
Now he doesn't have to.
But now he actually looks like the character that he wore the makeup for in 1990. And it's like, my mind is blown.
Yeah, that was amazing.
The 25 years passing out, like I was looking at what David Lynch has done recently, film wise, and it is a load of shorts and videos and stuff like that.
and
Like the
music.
last thing he's done was like 11 years ago. That was his last like
Inland
significant,
Empire.
his last significant film. It's just like he's been waiting for this like point where he's gone, right, now it's time to do Twin Peaks.
It's like he went into hibernation.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing a lot of musical.
I was going to ask about the Laura being in bed thing. Doesn't like a dead body appear next to her?
That's Annie. Sorry.
Yeah, that's Annie. They're
See,
very similar looking. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's on
No,
purpose.
but
Maybe.
when she appears in the bed next to it, obviously she looks like she's been murdered because she's got the blue complexion,
Blood
the blood
everywhere.
on her face. But she's just talking to her like normal, and she doesn't even flinch talking to it. It's not even like it's not normal.
Yeah.
And to be fair, if Bob keeps appearing in your fucking room every night, then this
You'd
is
get used to it.
Yeah, this is no different.
Yeah. Another quick point. Leland tells Teresa Banks, "You look like the prostitute.
You look like me dog.
You look like my daughter." Yeah, and like total
Yeah.
creeper. Like that for me is
But
the
he keeps
horror.
having,
of the film.
he does. He keeps having them visions, doesn't he? And it's like a brown-haired woman and his daughter speaking, but it's almost as if it's Teresa Banks. But then he keeps giving her his daughter's head, and he wanted like didn't he pay
No,
for?
sorry. Yeah, what it was. He arranged a threesome with Teresa Banks.
Foursome. I've read about this.
Oh, sorry,
It's a
foursome.
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 It's for.
And
I've read about foursomes.
he says to her, get your girlfriends, I'm up for it.
Yeah.
And his daughter's one of the friends, like who she calls in.
Yeah.
So he's like, shit.
To be asked.
Because he gives them money and just goes, right.
And
He
Oh,
just throws the money
yeah.
at her. She's at
I've
like
checking out.
one of them hotel, motel, holiday inn places where he
Yeah.
throws the fucking money.
And after he walks away, the little grandson walks out again, starts jumping about.
Yeah.
And you hear, how's it worded? The black dog runs at night, repeats about like 5 times.
Yeah.
Really quietly. No idea what that means.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But is that the first time Leland finds out what his daughter Laura does?
Maybe.
Because I don't think
Possibly.
from what I gathered from it, I felt like he liked taking her innocence away from it.
Leland-
with Bob
Leland-
inside him, obviously.
That's it. Like Leland. Like my theory on this is Leland does not know what's going on.
No, yeah, I just mean the
Okay.
character when he's obviously got Bob inside him. I think he liked taking the innocence away from her. But when he realises how sexually active she is and that she's a so-called prostitute escort type person, that's when he turns.
I'm not like after watching the TV show, I can't subscribe to that.
If
Like,
you
that's
watch,
what
if you watch the
I've
film,
got to admit-
you'll see it.
I'm more with Jono on this. I think
Right.
it's literally just like
It's a switch.
an allegory for like a coping mechanism. Like she's just getting abused by her dad, basically.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, I can accept the theory.
it's all dressed up as a demon and stuff, but I think it's just a
It's
teenager.
just a teenager
Alright,
getting
Developing a
abused.
drug habit to deal with a father
Okay.
abusing.
And
You know what I mean? It's just a.
And he's using, like you say, he needs to bang to get Bob out of him. Like he's using that as his own coping mechanism for what he's actually doing. There's no start realization that he's just an abuser.
I can accept the theory.
But on the flip side, Bob is actually literally a literal character in the
No,
film.
that's,
So it's like-
that's what I mean.
yeah.
That's why it's confusing. There's like a double meaning. Bob could be perceived to be a
Yeah.
coping mechanism, but also the fact that he's a real legitimate
I
person.
think it's just what you take away from it, basically. You know,
That must be what
whatever you
David
take
Lynch
from
must
it.
be getting. The fact that
Yeah.
he can give two meanings and people can make valid points to both.
I'll get onto this like before
At
we
the end,
finish,
yeah,
but it's
okay.
like the TV show and the film. It's abstract. Like the point
The
is
very-
that you are going to take away
Your
what you
own.
want to take away from this. It's this TV show and the film is less about this is a TV show and a film. This is more about this is an art piece, whether you like it or not.
It's meant to make you feel something as opposed to
Yeah.
make sense, kind of thing.
It's left out open ended. Pretty much most of the conclusions,
Yeah.
but that's what this is. It's a piece of it's a work of art.
Yeah, you're not
Whether
supposed
you
to
like it or
understand.
not.
You're not supposed to fully understand it. You're supposed to just appreciate it.
And yeah,
And it's all-
that's
for its own
we'll get
thing.
on to our ratings, but that's pretty much how I fall on it.
Okay.
Okay, move on.
Talking about things making sense. I want your gammon balls, yeah. Remember this at all?
Yeah.
It means pain and sorrow. Another theory I found online is that could literally mean the creamed corn, which is all over this film for some reason.
Yeah,
and the
you
TV
see
show.
someone slurping the
A really
creamed corn.
weird close up of somebody eating creamed corn.
Yeah.
People think that's the gammon balls.
Yeah.
The little guy in the Black Lodge eats this creamed corn as the pain and sorrow. He tells Bob, "I want your gammon balls, yeah."
So he wants
And
his
he-
pain and sorrow.
He throws his blood on the floor
Okay.
for him.
Yeah, and then the blood just disappears.
Yeah, just a weird little. That's disgusting. That cream corn scene. It's
It
so
looks
close
he's,
up.
he's
like-
sucking it in
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Okay. The bit where Bobby shoots the deputy from Deer Park.
Right, that was what I was going to tell you. That is one of my what a visually good scene, and it's the shot in the back of the head for
Yeah.
me.
All right, so like Johnny, you enjoyed that visually.
Yeah.
From watching the TV show, that's out of character for Bobby.
Bobby's a bit. No, I don't know.
But to
Bobby
be
in the
fair,
film's manic, isn't he?
Well, to be fair, the guy drew a gun on him, so like he was literally
He
like
just
you know,
defended himself.
defending
He
him.
did-
No, yeah,
After he
what-
shot the police officer, he
He's shocked.
seems shocked that he done
Yeah,
that.
that's what I'm saying. It's like what I liked about that. I've just watched 30 episodes of him being just a fucking klutz,
Yeah,
and then he just
Mate,
shoots
he
a
might
guy.
be a klutz, but he's also very possessive towards Laura. Where have you been with? It's
He's-
a constant question.
But, so to come back to the show,
Yeah.
this is another thing where Lynch had to put it in there because in the show, I think Shelley mentions that Bobby killed someone, and so that's why they have to put it in there.
Right.
It's showing actually he does kill someone. You know,
He does.
he doesn't
But
need to do it, but
when I was saying it's visually, what happens is he shoots him twice, and they're just general body shots. So the deputy spins and falls forward.
Yeah.
He then shoots him, and the back of the head splatters. But he goes over to check on him, and he literally picks him up, and you can see
He turns his head.
a
and
mashed
there's
skull,
quite
can't you?
medium
But
shot of
then
the
Laura,
dead
just
body.
because she's so they're so wasted, aren't they? Like,
well, I don't think it's that. I mean, I found that funny myself. To be
but she
honest.
starts laughing,
That
and
one.
he's like, "It's not a laughing. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
not a
it's
laughing
not a
matter.
joke.
It's not a joke."
Listen,
And
I love Lower Part.
you know what
I
was-
found that funny myself.
do you know
to be
what I
honest.
thought artistic? Do you know what I thought was funny? And this must play into what Joe's saying about him being a bit of a klutz and a bit dozy. Help me bury him. Little handful of like, dirt on his back. What you've said about him, that must be it. He's like trying to bury him with a little handful and
Just,
mud.
like-
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Just final point on Bobby here is that Bobby's character develops during the TV show quite rapidly.
Yeah.
He's a klutz, and whilst he's always a klutz, he moves up and up and up in the world of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the film, and he's shooting a guy in the head.
But it's a drug deal that was way out of where it should have been. Like the bag of what they were buying seemed like it was just they were wasted. Him and
Well,
Laura were wasted. I don't know why they were trying to set up a drug deal.
I mean-
with what turned out to be the deputy of the deputy sheriff.
Going back to the show, like it's not even drugs they're selling them. It's like baby laxative. Like it's a scam
Yeah, it's-
basically.
yeah.
Them and Leo were scamming everyone, cutting it with baby laxative. So like there's like a complete goofballs kind of thing. Okay, just got one more point. Philip Michael Gerard, who was in the TV show, the one-armed man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He turns up in the film,
Yeah.
driving like camper van.
but he's erratically driving behind. It comes from the scene that we had earlier where Laura and Donna are having that conversation about the night after being roofied, as John would say, and Leland comes to pick her up to go for a meal with the mother. So him and Laura are driving, and this man appears in like a camper van, erratically driving behind them like this. But they're behind like a tanker, stop at a light. The van goes mad, goes round, comes right up next to him, and almost starts shouting
But
abuse.
Just a quick point as well that there's a few things in the film that don't tie up with the TV show, and I guess Lynch doesn't care. But
No.
like Philip Michael Gerard didn't know that Leland was Bob in the TV show, and yet now all of a sudden he's stopping him in traffic.
He's
to talk to
shouting
him.
abuse at him, he's shouting at the daughter,
Yeah.
he's almost scaring him, but it looks like Leland has some sort of weird episode where he's just sat at the wheel like this,
Yeah.
just slowly raging, and it's like, it's really bizarre.
But also with that, like Bobby didn't know Jacques in the TV show. In the film, he knows him. It's just a little thing, and they forgot
Just a
about
little
it
daft
almost, like.
thing.
But just a quick quote when he pulls. But did you guys hear what he told Leland at the car? When he
I
shouts
read
at
it
him?
afterwards.
Oh, you read it afterwards?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Do-
So I think
do it.
it's quite revealing that. He shouts at him, a bit of a dramatic reading. You stole the corn. I had it canned over the store and missed the look on her face when it was opened. There was a stillness, like the Formica table. The thread will be torn, Mr. Palmer. The thread will be torn.
Yeah.
You can't hear a word of that in the film.
No, you
Yeah.
can't. You would have needed subtitles because I didn't know it was ramblings, and because it was so daft, she couldn't understand what was being said.
Yeah.
The filmmaker table is like
Is the table they're sat at in that little room.
yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that would tie
Yeah.
in somewhere.
Because again, they mention electricity. They mention Formica table.
Yeah.
So it does mean something, but I think it's the cream corn thing being pain and sorrow kind of thing.
All right. Well, I've got my last few points. These quick points on some things that you might have noticed during the TV show. So basically, do you know the Black Lodge or the place with the red curtain?
Yes.
Did you notice the floor was like a chevron pattern?
It's like a black and white, yeah.
That's a nod to David Lynch's film Eraserhead.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So like Eraserhead has the scene with that same chevron pattern. I've not seen Eraserhead, so I can't.
I've not myself, no.
But that's a nod back to one of his previous films. I've got my facts. I've got from BuzzFeed.
Okay.
I never usually look at them. But, yeah, David Lynch thought Cheryl Lee, which is Laura Palmer, had been so great as Laura Palmer that he wrote the part of her cousin Madeline Maddie Ferguson just to keep Cheryl in the show. So if you watch the TV show, she's died, Laura's died, but he liked the actress so much that he cast a role for her cousin to come into it and pretend to be Laura.
Just to get her in the show.
Just to get her back in the show. And then obviously he made the film with her, so he was obviously a huge fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she was pretty much the made the film.
Yeah.
The way she acted, there was little segments. She was good, even to the point where she turned Bobby just with a smile.
I think Laura Palmer screaming is one of the scariest things. Like, she's
Yeah,
got,
it's
blood
she's got a
curdling.
weird scream.
There's a scene at the end of season 2, and it's her screaming, and it's awful.
It is quite horrifying. Like it gets to you, like. But David Lynch, like saying like he casts kind of her back into it as a cousin. Like when I was looking through IMDb, and a lot of his films, a lot of actors and actresses are in like his films throughout, like different.
Oh, if he likes you, he likes you.
Like, is it McCackroon?
Kyle
MacLachlan.
Kyle MacLachlan,
Yeah,
sorry.
He was in Blue Velvet.
He's in a few of
with
like
Lynch.
David Lynch.
Just to mention Blue Velvet, that's one of the Blu-rays John's got in his bag, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for the final scores before
we'll
going on to
come-
that.
yeah,
I'll
right.
come back to that.
I've got last 2 points about Twin Peaks. One of the other facts I read was that Joanne Chen and Chris Mulkey, who plays Joanne Chen, is the
new
love
owner.
interest of the sheriff.
Yeah, and she owns the Packard sawmill
Yeah,
factory.
she does. Chris Mulkey is Hank, who is what's her name's the one who's in prison.
The diner owner, yeah.
Yeah, they drank each other's blood in the TV show. Like that was really happened. So there's a scene where he pricks Joanne's thumb, and the actress Joanne, and actually sucks his thumb and drinks the blood.
That's
and
not so bad. It's not as from the way you made it out. It's like you drank blood, but you're just having a little taste. It's not.
It caused a lot of stuff in the press.
Right.
I mean,
never heard that.
it probably would, because like back when these were made, it was a big deal for like.
Back in like the late 80s, early 90s, AIDS was a big thing.
Exactly,
Oh,
that's what I
yeah,
mean.
yeah.
Anything blood related, like diseases, was all of the news movies were made. So like for that would be a big shocker. I mean, like people were told what
Definitely.
to not do, and all of a sudden they're doing this.
My last real point about Twin Peaks was that this is from BuzzFeed as well. David Lynch and Mark Frost had a whole plan for a season 3 arc when the show ended back in 1991, and so perhaps maybe now in season 3 we'll finally see it 26 years later.
He's been waiting, just waiting and hiding.
And like as I mentioned earlier, they mention at the end of season 2, we'll meet again in 25 years, and I love the fact it's been 25 years.
It's purely relevant. I don't know whether they plan to do it that way, or whether it just so happens that was mentioned, and now he's done it, and it's just.
But also Lynch this week in the media was saying that Firewalk with Me is integral to season 3 of Twin Peaks. So
Okay.
I think a lot of what we discussed tonight will come up in the next series.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Well, let's talk ratings for the film.
Yeah.
I think we've all got our things.
You guys go first.
I'm gonna what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say that I would give the TV show a 4.5 out of 5. I'm gonna say that whilst not I didn't enjoy the entire show from start to finish. I enjoyed a lot of it, and it was something that I was always interested in, and I could always put an episode on, even though I watched it all in a week. I could put an episode on and enjoy the setting and where I was and what was happening and the general feel of the show. And I would give it a 4.5. It'd be a weak 4.5, but that's what I'd give the TV show. For the film, I really don't know if I can give a rating for it.
Oh, you've got to.
You
have to rate
Do I
it.
have to give a rating
You
to
do,
the film? Because the film, if I, like Jono and Sam, like if I rated that film without watching the TV show, I'd give it like a 1 out of 5. I'd be like, what is
I
this?
find that really interesting.
But yeah. But like with the context behind it, and I know you can look at it as a piece of art on its own, I'm still going to give it quite a low rating of maybe like, I'd probably give the film a 2 out of 5. And that's whilst I'm taking into account that people like it these days and that people can see now what it it's ahead of its time and people are now appreciating what it does. I'm still giving it 2 out of 5 because the TV show is much better than that film. So should we move on, Jono?
I was going to say, can I lead on to that? I made a note, and the bottom one, what does that say?
Worst film I have ever finished.
Right, right.
Well, not an opinion that I wasn't expecting.
If I don't like a film, sometimes I won't finish watching it. That was a film that I didn't like, but I felt it was relevant to finish.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would give it a 1. But since you've been telling me about the deleted scenes and potentially what links what, and you know your explanations as to what questions I had, I'll give it a 2. Because you've upped it because my brain's making sense of something that happened 24 hours ago.
Okay.
Which I feel like David Lynch might want in people.
I'll chip in on John's sort of like rating now because I think I walked into work this morning and I just said to Joe,
Yeah, it's the worst film
Twin
I've ever
Peaks
seen.
is an awful film. But I echo what John's saying. Putting all this together, having a talk about it, putting the deleted scenes in, referencing those into it, I think my rating has gone up and I'll probably give it the same, a 2. Because I feel like I've not seen the TV show and it feels like the film relies heavily on seeing the TV show. So as a standalone watching the film,
Yeah.
I don't think it makes
Because
Just
complete sense and stuff like that.
what the deleted scenes didn't give us, you are telling me that the TV show should.
If you're viewing the film as a standalone piece, like
It's shocking.
makes no
It's
sense.
shocking.
It's not what.
Well,
it's
the point I was
supposed
going to
be.
make before was if the deleted scenes and the movie had been put into one, that would have made to me it would have made at least enough sense for me to not lose sleep over the fact I couldn't work it out. But I feel like it's benefited David Lynch because the way John's explained his character, the fact you've just took pieces out and made it so abstract, like you were saying before, that looks like it's benefited him. I know he said he bombed at Cannes, but
This
doesn't
is
hurt,
what
does
I'd
it?
like to sort of like before we come to Nick's rating, like to verify how I'm looking at this is like the TV show I enjoyed, the film I didn't like really enjoy because it removed a lot of the elements of the TV show that I didn't like. If I was to like review it as a piece of art, if I was to review it as like an entire piece, I don't know if I'd give it like a 5 out of 5, but I don't know why I would give it that because it baffles my head this entire TV show and film, to be honest. Nick, let's come on to you. What would you rate it?
How do you rate the
film?
the missing piece?
I've not seen the film.
Oh shit!
I can't.
How would you rate the
the
missing,
missing
pieces?
pieces.
I'd like honestly like I watched Missing Pieces thinking it was a film. So like I would give it a good 3 out of 5 like
Right.
for the Missing Pieces.
What
That,
TV
that,
show?
that's
The t-
incredible that you've done
No,
that.
like I've watched the series. And like I would give the series like a good 4.
You gonna watch
Yeah.
the? You gonna watch the movie?
I'm going to watch it like this weekend, but like I'd give the series a good 4 out of 5. And I've loved the series so far. And like I loved all the references in the deleted scenes to the series, and
Yeah.
that's the main reason
It's really bizarre.
I'd rate it higher than you have rated the film.
I
to be honest.
I didn't know you could give deleted scenes. I didn't know they'd make sense because they're just bits you've took out.
I don't know, but like I read the synopsis on IMDb for the Missing Pieces, and it's supposed to be like the deleted scenes put together to
You know,
make sense
like,
as
yeah.
a film.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
really bizarre. I was
it
wondering.
has been put together to make sense as a film on its own.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
John, do you want to
like Nick said that, I think you might be on my side once you watch the film. I'm going 5 out of 5.
for the film?
Love the film. Yeah, I've always loved it.
I knew we'd have ranging
Why?
opinions.
Yeah.
Have you seen the deleted scenes though?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. Yeah. So
But that's nothing to do with my 5 out of 5 rating.
you're doing it as a standalone.
So hang on, can I
Standalone
just
film.
stop this? Have we had 2 5 out of 5 ratings on this podcast up to now?
I've given 2 5s.
What was
Yeah,
your
John,
2
has he
fives?
given?
Jesse James.
You give-
Jesse, sorry, yeah, I gave Watchmen. You gave Jesse James,
Yeah.
and you're giving 5
Firework
stars.
with me, yeah, it's a 5 stars. Yeah.
But
Okay.
I
Yeah.
totally get.
I'm gonna sit back and just take this in.
You know
for a
what's
second.
funny?
Yeah.
I've got a 2, but I totally get why. With the way John was talking about before, I totally get why you give it a 5.
I get why you're
From-
giving it
from
5.
him.
That's the maddest thing.
Yeah, we
I
know.
mentioned earlier, I watched this when I was like 15 or 16. I hadn't watched the TV show at that point, and it terrified me. I loved it. I still find it scary now. It's scarier than all the horror stuff coming out nowadays.
Yeah.
That is a lot of shit today, though.
Just to throw a question at you, would you give it 5 out of 5 regardless of the TV show? Because
Yeah, because that's what I mean. When I first watched it,
Yeah.
I hadn't seen
Oh.
the TV show.
you
I
still
would've
give it
given
5 out of 5?
back
What I was
then,
going to
yeah.
say
Oh
was.
wait, so wait, you watched 5 Out with Me before the series?
Yeah, when I was like 15 or
Oh,
something.
really?
Yeah. I only watched the TV show when it came on DVD in like
So
98 or
you
something
watched
like
it before the series and still loved the film?
that. Yeah,
Oh, that's amazing.
Do you love the
Yeah.
film more than you love the series?
I might do.
That's a
actually,
question.
Yeah, I think I might do it, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't.
Because we've got
I can't-
you've given it a 5 rating, but if the series also gets a 5 rating, which is the better?
With both 5 stars for me.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Hang on, can I just ask, are you giving Twin Peaks the TV series a 5 as well?
5 as well, yeah.
Okay, I can get on
Definitely,
board
yeah.
more with that.
Yeah.
Because that is a piece of art. It's
And
just,
I don't want you to think I'm only doing it now because it's back in the media, it's popular again. You can check my Letterboxd account. I've always given this 5 stars over
Yeah.
the years. When I was a 3-year-old
right, John,
toddler,
we believe you.
No,
when I was a 3-year-old, I was like 5 stars.
When you're a 3-year-old and your letterbox account,
Just before we finish off, like with season 3 starting, and some of us have seen the film, some of us have just watched the deleted scenes, Nick, and some of us have watched like, the TV show and the film. How are we looking forward to season 3? Because I cannot wait for season 3. I really cannot.
I've not even fully finished season 2, and I can't wait
Yeah.
for season 3.
I'll base it when I start watching the series. If I can get into the series, I'll tell you. But it'd have to be.
Can I tell you a one-line synopsis of series 3?
Yeah.
It's Agent Cooper's Odyssey back to Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Just that and it's alone. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Sammy, are you interested in this before it starts?
Like, after watching the film, it didn't make sense, and it's only through a lot of input from you guys who have seen the TV show and like the deleted scenes and stuff like that the film's only just making a little bit of sense, and it's making me. Originally, I thought, no, there's no way I'm gonna even bother with a TV show. Like, not gonna put like a week's worth of 20 hours like watching it. Like,
Yeah.
not gonna bother doing that. But after talking about it, I'd feel like there's a chance I might actually take a risk on the show and sort of.
Yeah,
like,
There's definitely a reason to watch the first 10 episodes at least and just see how you go with it. And then after that, you've probably learned enough from this podcast
yeah.
that you could watch.
I'll get around to season 3 in about 6 years' time.
Do you know what would have been funny though? I reckon if we'd watched it together, it'd make more sense because I might have been able to drop a couple of questions
Yeah,
just for you
maybe,
to
yeah.
fill the hole straight
Of
away.
course.
Yeah.
All right, well let's finish off here, guys. Before we get on to the social media, I have some breaking news.
Oh, breaking news.
You're gonna put like a.
I might put a little sting in. Woo woo! Breaking news. This is from news. Huge breaking news this Friday afternoon as Deadline, I'm assuming this is where this source is reporting that Sony's Venom movie is officially happening with Tom Hardy starring as the title character and Zombieland's Ruben Fleischer directing. So that's breaking news to the end of the podcast. We've got Venom with Tom Hardy playing Venom.
Wow.
Venom.
I had no interest in Venom at all, but now that Tom Hardy's playing
Do you know what's funny? How weird's that? Tom Hardy doesn't just appeal to women.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I can't
Yeah,
believe
sounds
that,
good.
yeah.
That sounds good.
All right, that's all we got for breaking news. That's literally it.
Just to confirm, that's not part of the MCU, by the way. That's
No, that'll be
The Marvel Comic Universe.
Marvel.
That'll be Sony's standalone film. That.
Yeah.
It'll be dead similar to Spider-Man, won't it, when he took that over?
Well, they originally planned it, didn't they? But
Yeah,
then
like, it's a hero
then
film.
everything just bombed. So you're like, oh fuck it, let's go with them.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish off. Jono, have you got the social media links to give out?
Yeah, if you want to contact us on Twitter, it's at DST Podcast, and then obviously our Instagram is at DST Podcast 4. That's the number 4.
Yep, and at Taylor 1980.
Rubik's Football, at Rubik's Football on Twitter.
I'm at it's Joe YEHITSJOE.
I'm at DSTE Nick.
And I'm at Jono88Jono, but all of them can be found on the central page and we're right at the top. So if you want to hit us up, follow us, do whatever, that's fine.
At the STE podcast.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sounds good. All right. Well, I've enjoyed this episode. It's went on a bit long, but
been a good one.
I've
Love this
enjoyed the
episode.
Twin Peaks discussion.
Enjoyed the coffee and the cherry pie. It's been
What do you like? A coffee?
Do you know what's funny? I think a weight's been lifted off my brain.
All right, let's finish it off.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening. This has been episode 8 of Don't Spoil the Ending. I've been Joe, and you've all been Nick, Jono, John, and Sam.
Yes,
I
we
just
have.
Name checked you all. Thanks for listening.
And we'll catch you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Alright,
bye.
Bye.
says like pedo so.